Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Hold on just one moment while I make sure we're all good and ready to start. I've had a really interesting day to say the least. I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit. Okay, just making sure we're all good and that we're live, ready to go. Seems like everything's ready. I want to talk about that whole Indie World presentation thing, those things Nintendo did like every few months. We just got another one today, so I'm in the mood to talk about that. We'll get right into that in just a little bit, because I feel like this is a decent subject that I want to talk about. I just got done watching it, like, I don't know, I want to say less than 15 minutes ago or something. Hold on a second. I had a slight problem when I was doing something. I think we're good. I had to fix up something on Discord. Okay, let's continue. But yeah, I just watched that recently. I was planning to start a lot earlier actually today. I apologize, this is fairly late for some of you guys and you can't make it to the stream. I've had a really tiring day, and on top of that, like, I wasn't certain I was going to stream at all. Things got really delayed. I went to bed at a really dumb time last night, and it impacted my whole day, to say the least. So, yeah, not been a great start for me. Today has been off to a really rough start, actually. Anyway, let's talk about the Indie World presentation in just a second. Let me just fix up a thing or two while we're doing this. Okay, I think we're good. Right. Anyway, where was I? There were a lot of really interesting games on that Indie World presentation. I don't know why after like all these months not getting like a general direct, their first like inclination is to give us another Indie World presentation, but I mean, I guess whatever, I guess it's something. Also, before I get into talking, I think today's stream might be a little longer, I'm not really sure. I want to get up to 300 encounters, and that's going to take a while. I'm worried it might take up to like 4 hours, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm definitely going to take the day off tomorrow, and maybe even on Thursday. I wanted to take a little bit of a resting point, and I didn't feel like I had the right time set up for it, so for the record, there probably won't be a stream for the next day or two. At least I'm not doing one on Wednesday, maybe not on Thursday, I don't know. Right now, I'm not really trying to do super active streaming like every day of the week, even though I'm trying to stream a little bit because I want to get the shiny done. Alright, where were we? We were talking about the Indie World Direct thing. One of the, I'm gonna mention the first game that like stuck out to me like a lot. There were a lot of them that were really good. In fact, like the starting announcement, the last announcement, all that stuff, like a lot of the announcements in it were really great. I enjoyed the whole presentation. One thing that caught my attention was that Happy Game thing, or whatever it's called. I think it's Happy Game. The game where it had all these characters smiling. Some kind of horror game. That was really fucking creepy looking, I'm not going to lie. I've never seen a 2D game like that that's kind of evoked that much emotion in me. There's still some kind of creepy 2D games out there, but something about the way that was done, like the drawing and like how everything was like set up, like it genuinely gave me chills watching that. It's like that kind of little untrustworthy smile you see on somebody. Can't really tell if it's like a real smile or not, or if it's just them smiling at you with like some evil intention. And this game was like filled with that, and it seems like it's based on like nightmares. It was already like, that was creepy enough as a premise, and really interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It looks like it'd be pretty neat. I don't know if I want to buy it. It seems like an alright game. Very nice looking horror game, though I do feel like out of like all the horror stuff I talk about, I've never seen anything quite like this that piqued my interest, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. That seemed like a decent game. Another one I like the look of, well, let's just talk about the first games. As I mentioned, I liked that. Spelunky was like the first game that got revealed, Spelunky 1 and 2. I've had a lot of interest in Spelunky for the longest time. I've always wanted to pick the series up and like play it, and I've never taken the dive to actually take the dive, whatever. Yeah, or taken the dive to actually play a Spelunky game, so I've never really experienced what they're like, and now I'm interested in picking up Spelunky and checking it out. I mean, I've thought about getting Spelunky 2 on multiple occasions. I think Spelunky 1 was just something that didn't come out around the time that I had known about it. I think it was like an Xbox exclusive for the longest time, too, so that didn't really help me garner any interest in it. I watched some streams of it, though. It's a pretty decent-looking roguelike. I do like the look of it, too. Like, Spelunky's interesting. One of the better roguelike games from what I've seen, and also, I don't think I've ever seen another roguelike that emphasizes platforming as much as Spelunky does, and the platforming, the exploration looks really, really good. I think I'm going to pick up the first one on the Switch when it comes out, since they're both coming to Switch. Spelunky 2 looks good. Also, there's online multiplayer. I think it's like both co-op and versus multiplayer, so I have interest in like picking it up and playing it with you guys if you want to do like co-op, or we could see about the other modes and see how those go too. I wouldn't mind. I would get Spelunky 2, but I hear it's a lot harder, and I don't know if it's worth it if it's like less newcomer friendly. That's the one that's more interesting since more people pick it up and it's the newer one. Everybody's more interested in it. I'm personally just interested in picking up the first game, and then if I like it and enjoy it, then we'll get Spelunky 2 and I'll check that out. Spelunky's always been kind of neat. The enemy design's good. And like I like how the lore's laid out. You can read up on all the enemies. The flavor text is good. Great boss design. Something I just enjoy the look of, even though it's a very, very tame-looking roguelike game. I think I'm going to pick that up. Also, Spelunky 2 looks really good with all like the playable characters that are available. I want to pick that up and try that out. Also, there's like significantly more variety in that game. I wonder how much they cost, actually. I talk about roguelike games a lot. There's a lot of good ones. Spelunky's just one I had my eye on for a long time. That's always been an old one that I've had that passing interest in. So it's like, well, naturally I'll have like a little bit of interest in picking it up since I've been eyeballing it for years and interested in getting it. So it doesn't exactly hurt that I'm interested in this. I've been wanting it for God knows how long. Don't know if it'll be good or not. I hear nothing but good things about it, though. I know there's like a little thing somebody made where there's like a little death roulette thing or whatever. You can like vote on like what somebody's gonna die on in their stream and like use that to predict, to place like little virtual bets on like what kills the player. Seems like a pretty fun little system to mess around with too. I think it's only on Twitch, unfortunately, so I don't know if it can be used on YouTube. Oh, god damn it. Is there a fucking issue with the stream? This exact problem happened yesterday where I started streaming and then all of a sudden just really, really bad lag, and it looks like it's saying the same thing is happening right now. I don't know what's up with my internet. It's been doing this like every day recently, and it's kind of bothering me a little bit. Give me a second or two, guys. I need to investigate if there's something going on with my speed through a speed test, and I think I've got most of my stuff closed. I don't know why it would be doing this. It's gonna take a moment or two. I've been having this issue for a little while now. It just suddenly cropped up and it's not been going away. Like just randomly throughout the day I get slowed internet speed. It's starting to drive me insane how bad it is. It normally only impacts like my download speed, but it sometimes impacts my upload too. I don't know why the stream would be lagging if I'm having download speed issues though. It's only supposed to be upload speed that's working on the stream, and I'm not sure if it's actually my internet or YouTube or what. I mean, it happens to me when I'm watching Twitch streams too. Fuck. Give me a second or two. I'm checking this. I'm gonna do like another speed test. This is one thing I hate about streaming. Something I hate about computers too. Technical problems galore. I would be so much happier if I didn't need to sit here and do technical the stuff and like test my stream and like make sure it's working if I didn't have these issues. All I know is maybe I could up the bit rate, but I've had people complain they couldn't watch when I upped the bit rate, so it's like I don't know what to do. It's like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. When I call my ISP, they won't send anybody out until like 2 or 3 days later, and it's like I just want somebody to come fix the internet, and they never come out when it's actually not working. God damn it, give me a second. It shows it's fine. I'm gonna check one more speed test. Sorry if I'm like getting sidetracked on my talking, because this it's not intentional, just I'm naturally frustrated how this is going right now. I don't think it's that hard to imagine somebody getting frustrated when their internet's being uncooperative. Where were we anyway? We were talking about the Nintendo, like the Nindy World thing. Okay, it seems like it's okay. I don't know. I'm gonna keep an eye on it while I speed test it one more time, though. If I go silent, my bad. It's only natural that I like this, I feel like. When I have these kind of problems, it makes me nervous, and then I end up feeling like I can't talk normally because of this fucking bullshit going on. Doesn't help that I've been dealing with a lot of stress right now. Today has been a little awkward for me, and on top of that, like, this shiny hunt, I'm kind of concerned. I'm not sure how to feel. I'm worried if this is going over well. Like, I've been hearing, like, conflicting reports regarding if the shiny charm actually works on the Regis. It seems like, yeah, it affects static spawns, but I can't find, like, a guaranteed source on it or anybody who's, like, able to confirm whether or not it actually works, so I don't know what to expect, if it's going to keep working out or if it's actually not working at all. I mean, we haven't got the shiny, we haven't had any results yet. I'm not really too concerned yet. I mean, just because the results are supposed to be 1 out of like 1365 doesn't mean it's going to be 1365. I'd say as long as it's under 4,000, then yeah, there's a fair possibility that everything's working out. I've seen a lot of results that seem to like mirror that, but a lot of people are saying they've seen a lot of hunts that end up showing more negative data than they do like positive, like that it goes over odds. I'm not sure how to feel about that whole thing. I know it's all statistics and it's all like hard to really compare that kind of stuff since there's not really much to go on, but it's still nerve-wracking looking at all that info and then seeing people say, like, yeah, it's not working, there's no shiny popping up, it's been 10,000 encounters. I hate that idea of me bumping into, like, a 10,000 encounter on this thing, or really any of my shiny hunting targets. Hope we'll get it today, because I'm going to be going until we get up to 2,000 encounters. I would really, really pray to God this thing will decide to show up by the time we reach 2,000, but if it doesn't, whatever. I just don't want to be stuck on this shiny hunt for like a month or more. I was so hopeful when I started this that it'd be a quick, clean, and easy shiny hunt, and here we are. I think the chances of me going after 3 Regis this month like I wanted to are like definitely not very likely anymore. Anyway, let's see. Talking about the Indie World stuff I didn't finish. I've got done talking about Spelunky. I got a little bit distracted. Let's see. We talked about Spelunky 1 and 2, and we talked about the Happy Game thing. I'll move along to my next subject and games I wanted to talk about through this presentation in just a second or two. Just gonna keep a tab on what I've already talked about, because I have that problem where if I don't pay attention, I end up sometimes ignoring and not paying attention to what I was wanting to bring up. Okay, let's see. I guess let's talk about the last announcement and talk about it really quick. Among Us, I don't really know how I feel about seeing that coming to Switch. Personally, I don't really mind watching it. I'm not really super interested in playing it. It doesn't seem like a bad game. I feel like I'm kind of person who struggles with like my everyday social skills, so it's like I don't know if I want to get Among Us and play it, whether it be on Switch or if I play mobile version or whatever. I think I would rather just avoid playing. I'm the kind of person who'd rather just keep playing what I play and not think about it. I know a lot of people who play those games get like really, really up in your face and like really, really cut through about how they play the game. I mean, I guess because they want to win at it, but it's like people like they're quick to question everything you do, and you don't answer fast. They act suspiciously, and it's like, well, I'm not great when it comes to like conversations overall. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I'd try to talk to people, and a lot of things feels like it comes out kind of awkward sometimes. I can talk to people, but it feels like when I don't know people, and like an everyday scenario, it can be awkward speaking sometimes. It's not always bad, but it can be very uncomfortable, and then somebody piling on pressure just because I'm not used to like getting into these kind of situations very often. Be like, yeah, I don't want to play that game, frankly. Not at least, I don't feel like I have that much interest in it. It's like I feel like I'd feel troubled speaking even when I was playing normally. I feel like playing imposter for me would be impossible. I wouldn't be able to do anything very good with that. I don't feel like. I don't know, maybe if I tried I'd be able to, but I don't feel like I want to try it without having like a group of people that I would rather play with normally than go on and try to play randomly or whatever. I wonder how that game's gonna work with like Switch anyway. I know they can like bring up a keyboard for touchscreen, which that seems like a relatively easy way to make sure you can type out messages, but typing stuff out on like docked mode and dock mode with your Pro controller, it seems like that'd be very, very difficult and possibly counterintuitive. I couldn't see how you could get your messages up quickly and how you could actually make things work. I don't know. I don't feel like it'd be great for playing in TV mode. Handheld mode, sure, I imagine it'd be a pretty easy and pretty fun time to get around playing it and probably enjoyable. I don't know if I would want to play it though. To be honest, I'm kind of like sick of seeing it all over YouTube. It's not a bad game from what I can tell. It's just like it's gotten so many fucking videos on it and so much attention. It's like perfect YouTuber bait, and it's still been popular for months. And all you see on this like games, it seems like right now, even though it's not entirely like, it feels like there's mostly just Among Us videos. Among Us. There's like all these different things, and most of them are just people posting these stupid videos where it's like, oh, this is 2000 IQ gameplay. It's like, okay, whatever. Everybody's posting the same fucking video titles about this game and basically talking about how their Among Us strats are fucking amazing and brilliant. It's like, when is this going to be over? I don't mind, but I feel like seeing Among Us be like one of the only things I see on YouTube for games gets really, really old after so much time. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. I'd be happier to see more other stuff pop up. I don't feel like I see as much game variety in my feed after Among Us has been like popular. Kind of funny how it just got that popular after like 2 years. It didn't come out in 2020. It came out in 2018, and then it just got a popularity surge all of a sudden. I don't know where it came from. I mean, I guess people just stumbled onto it, but like, I know coronavirus is a thing and all, but I don't know how people suddenly brought this game from 2 years ago and then made it like so much more popular. Like, what caused this surge in popularity is what I'm wondering. Not that I care. Just out of just like thinking about it. Also, some of the games in that presentation were very interesting looking. I remember looking at one of the games. I don't remember what it was called. It started with the G, like something Nazia. I don't know, Nostria. I don't know what the hell it was called. It was something weird like that, and it looked just like an anime version of Among Us. Actually, it was like single player with like NPCs, and it's like I don't really see the point of this game. It seems like it's trying to be sort of like a visual novel, but it's like okay, you gotta vote off like basically imposters, and it's anime styled and single player. It's like, what is this? It just looks like it's trying really hard to copy what made Among Us popular. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Really weird looking game concept. That one wasn't something I was going to talk about too much. It just looks really weird, and I thought it'd be worth bringing up for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to pick up Among Us, not unless you guys have some interest in it and you're interested in doing like a fairly decent sized lobby. Then I might open up to the idea of doing Among Us and seeing how that goes. But otherwise, I don't think I'm going to bother picking it up. We'll see. Maybe if people are really interested, I'll look into it. I don't know if I want to waste $5 on it. Right now I'm trying to save my money, and I'm maybe contemplating spending a little bit of money on Pokemon Go for something, which I'll talk about in a bit, actually. Let me see here. What's next that I want to talk about? There's quite a few games that I took note of. They're pretty good. Okay, this one was mentioned like right after Spelunky, so I'll talk about this. Not really a whole lot I think I had to say about it, but they announced some game called Misty Fluffs. I thought that looked kind of neat. It was like a game with cats in it, and looked like it was some sort of fighter brawler game. I don't know if it has like online or not. It was really silly looking, seeing cats like jump around houses or whatever and like knocking stuff down. You can see them like destroying their owner's stuff and see like money values of the stuff they're destroying. It was kind of funny looking. Looks like a really, really goofy but really, really fun like little multiplayer game. I don't know if I would be interested in getting it or not. I mean, I'm not big on fighting games. That looked like it might be okay though. Maybe. I'll have to consider it. I don't play enough of those. I only played really like Smash Bros. When it comes to fighting games. I don't really happen to love them. I mean, Nintendo's fighting games have been good. Also, it's funny, I don't know why, something about it seeing like cat games, a lot of them look really, really fun to mess around with. I'll talk about that in a second, though. I don't think I'm going to pick it up. I don't know, maybe I will. It looked neat. That was another one that caught my attention that was pretty good. And then next up, I wanted to bring up, since this relates to what I was talking about to an extent, Super Meat Boy Forever. I remember when they, like, talked about that a little bit on the Game Awards, like they mentioned that it was launching as an Epic exclusive. It's been so long since we heard about that game. I think it's been like, what, at least 3 or 4 years, maybe more. And then it got delayed for even longer. I think the reason they delayed it is because they were making it for mobile and they wanted to make it work on, like, consoles. I don't know how I feel about this. I like Super Meat Boy. I enjoyed the original. I don't know if I want to pick up... Excuse me, I'm stuck backing up a little bit. I don't know if I want to pick up Super Meat Boy Forever. I guess I'll probably consider getting it, not this month. I think I'd like to play through it. Honestly, I'm surprised it took them this long. Team Meat's kind of been... Well, it kind of been, but it feels like they've been slacking when it comes to, like, getting their shit together for, like, putting out new games. Hold on a second. Going back to doing something really quick. I'm going to check something on the stats page in a second, too. I want to look over, like, one thing really quick just to get a look at some tiny little thing, and then we're good. This won't take more than a moment. Okay, I think we're good. But yeah, Team Meat hasn't really done a whole lot, it feels like. I remember they announced that Mugenics thing, like, I don't know how many years ago. Then they canceled it without saying very much, and now they revived it again. I was going to mention that because of the cat game thing I brought up, that Misty Fluffs thing. It looks kind of neat. I don't know whether or not I would pick up Mugenics. I mean, that's assuming it makes it out of, like, production and actually gets made this time, instead of them being like, oh yeah guys, we're totally going to release this game and make sure it comes out, unlike last time where it didn't really go anywhere after them promising us the game. It looked neat. It was some weird game about cats. I couldn't tell what the premise was. Seems like you, like, raised cats. I think it was like breeding, like, cats and creating new species or something. Maybe, like, mutating cats too, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I loved the vibe of it. I thought it looked kind of in some areas, but it looked fascinating. I will admit, like, I do like the look of, like, a lot of their games, but it feels like a lot of their stuff doesn't really happen to be... They throw a lot of ideas out there, and it doesn't seem like a lot of it comes out. I can't really think what their, like, last few games were. I know they made that Legend of Bumbo thing that was like a spin-off of Binding of Isaac. Before that, it felt like they just kept releasing Isaac content, and then the last thing they released is like that remaster, or whatever you want to call it, of, like, the Binding of Isaac, and it's like, okay, you haven't made a new game in, like, so many years, and you make another game, and it's literally just a remaster or remake of your last game. It's like, why not make something new, for God's sake? It's been a long time. I don't know. Kind of hard to find any love for Team Meat when they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs, not making any games that are that interesting looking. I don't know, just my 2 cents on that. I didn't really find it to be amazing looking. Certainly would have... actually, I've never picked up Binding of Isaac, I should say. Find it more interesting if they waited on this remaster thing they did. I think they called it, like, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, but yeah, it seems like it came, like, really shortly after Binding of Isaac. I've never been able to get into it. I feel like Binding of Isaac's got a lot of, like, gross-out humor and gross-looking stuff in general. Like, the game's really kind of gory, not that badly when it comes to the gore, but, like, it's a lot of nasty stuff that, like a lot of poop jokes and stuff, and all these other things, and just all that combined is just kind of like, yeah, this is kind of gross and disturbing, and not in a way that I'm comfortable with. I'd rather not play this. I don't feel like the game is something I'd want to play. It makes me feel squeamish when I look at it. I don't know. Some people are more than okay with it and don't mind picking it up as a result, but I never was interested because it just never looked like the kind of game I would want to play just because of that stuff. Without that, I would have probably considered it. I guess at the same time, it kind of made the game's identity, but it's also the same single factor that kept me away from ever buying it, so whatever, I guess. I know they made that fingered thing in between. I know they made that for Steam. I don't think it was really amazing. It was like a game where you play, like, some game, like, investigating a crime scene or whatever. You play as, like, a cop interrogating, like all these people brought in, and you have to figure out which person committed the crime, basically, based on, like, a set of hints, and it's all randomized stuff. That was kind of an interesting thing they did, but I think that was, like, a really, really small project that probably took them, like, barely any time to make, so yeah, I don't know. That one was kind of hard to count as a proper game. At least their games have been interesting. I've kept up with, like, some of the stuff that's going on. Excuse me, I bit my tongue a little bit. It wasn't very hard, thankfully. Or else I would have probably screamed just a moment ago. But yeah, they've made a lot of different things, but it's like their projects over the recent years have not been the most interesting. I don't know, maybe it's just me. That basement collection thing that Edmund McMillan released on Steam is kind of neat. I think it's like a collection of all his early games that he made before he did, like, Super Meat Boy. Like, he has, like, a lot of Flash games on there. I played that. That was pretty good. That was a decent little collection of games, even though it wasn't anything brand new, just, like, all the old projects. I still enjoyed that, though. I found that to be fairly good value. I don't think it was, like, more than, like, $5 to $8 or something. I felt like I got my money's worth out of it. I mean, if you could play them for free, whatever, even if I did spend a little bit, I don't really care. It's like, it's quite a few games, and I probably wouldn't have played them if I hadn't bought it on the Steam bundle. I would have looked these games up and found out about them otherwise, so there's that. Yeah, they haven't made a lot that I've been interested in lately. Hope they have something planned and, like, work on that Eugenics game or something for their next game, like, after they release Super Meat Boy Forever. I want to pick up Super Meat Boy Forever. Probably play it in my spare time. Looks like a fun experience. The original Super Meat Boy was pretty good. I almost never beat it, and then I eventually sat down and, like, set aside, like, a whole day to beating it. Pretty good game. Really fucking hard, but still a really good game. I will say when it comes to, like, those kind of games, I don't really love how the general, like, way a lot of developers make their games on platformers is like, or make their platformers just like, oh yeah, gotta make a really fucking hard game, and all the levels have to be excruciatingly difficult, and Meat Boy really did that. A lot of platformer games, especially indies, like follow this trend, and it's like, why? There's no rule that states that your platforming game has to be difficult. Like, it's not wrong to take a few notes from Nintendo or whoever and like try to make something that's good looking and fun to play rather than hard, instead of like going straight to making a hard game. I liked Celeste. That one was one of those fun that was, it didn't push it too far. It was hard, but it was hard within reason. You could beat it without too much trouble. That was a pretty good game in my opinion. That was one I really, really enjoyed. I never played Shovel Knight very much. I think I played like 2 of the expansions, actually. Maybe I'll stream that one day, potentially. I don't know. I've certainly had interest in it. I don't know what it was about the game. I think it looks great, but it just flew under my radar, and by the time I was like actually interested, it was like, well, I kind of missed like the big hype surrounding the game and like all the people playing it. It's like, I think I'll just wait until later to play it and see how I like it rather than doing it right now. It's been me like not ever finding a good point to put it in my schedule and play it though. I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing a stream of that. I think I have like the treasure trove version or whatever, so I could probably play through all the expansions, even though I think like the one for Spectre Knight, or was it Spectre Knight? I don't remember like who I'm thinking of, the Plague Knight, that might have been the one that was supposed to be like kind of less, so I don't know if I'd enjoy it or not. I don't know, we'll see. I might play that on stream. I am a sucker for a good platformer, so playing through Shovel Knight wouldn't exactly be something I'd be against doing. Oh yeah, Yacht Club Games. We can talk about their stuff in just a second, actually, because I think I'm done talking about Team Meat and also talking about Super Meat Boy Forever. It looks good. I mean, I hope Super Meat Boy Forever is going to be good and very fun, so I mean, I'll be looking forward to it. Don't know if I'll enjoy it or not, but I'm going to pick it up and hopefully I'll like it. Anyway, let me mark that off too. Easy for me to get a little distracted. Give me a moment or two. I'll use one more game I want to talk about in the presentation that I remembered looking at that I found pretty good looking. That was that Cyber Shadow game. I never, like I said, I never really played a Shovel Knight, at least not the original, and I haven't really looked a whole lot into Yacht Club Games and stuff, so I missed out on like the initial Shovel Knight hype by quite a bit, and I think they've like gotten to like making more stuff and even publishing some stuff. I've never really checked out a whole lot of their works. I just know they made Shovel Knight. I want to check out some of their games. I think I'll probably pick up that Cyber Shadow thing, whether or not I'll stream it. I don't know. Right now, obviously, I'm not going to buy anything because I don't have any money. I don't think it's going to be out until 2021. It looks really, really good. Reminds me of like the same style that Ninja Gaiden on the NES had. And I do like that about the game. Hold on a second. Hopefully it's like way more forgiving and way more fun to play than Ninja Gaiden was, because Ninja Gaiden, that game was alright, and then up until the end, the difficulty got to be like way too fucking hard and way too bullshit. Messing up against the final boss just completely fucking sent you back to the start, and like it kind of took the wind out of the game for me, made it less than fun. And on top of that, the final boss fight's like really fucking challenging, so it's like, yeah, I don't know if I would really want to play it if it ends up being as hard as Ninja Gaiden was. There's some other Ninja game that happened to be out like a year or two ago that was pretty interesting. I don't remember what it was called. Let me see, I'll look it up in a second. Like, that was something that I would bring up. I haven't played that one any. I don't know if I would like it. I saw somebody else playing it, and they played it for a while, but they got tired of playing it because the game was like really goddamn long and kind of felt like it overstayed its welcome too much. Cyber Shadow looks good though. I like the plot line. I like the way the environments look. I think everything looks really, really nice about the game, and very, very great pixel work. I feel like Yacht Club Games should stick to their strong suit and keep making games like that. It'd be neat to see another Shovel Knight that's like closer to 16-bit look than 8-bit, excuse me. And then see if they eventually make like a Shovel Knight 64 like the community talked about. Although I don't really think I'd mind if they just stuck to making 8-bit stuff. They didn't seem to know what they're doing with it. Great games from what I had seen. It's a shame I've never played any of their stuff. I feel like I'd really like it. They seem like really talented devs. There's a lot of great indie devs out there. There wasn't anything else that I remember that I wanted to talk about during the presentation. I don't know if there's anything else that caught my attention. Like, there were a few games that were neat looking, but nothing that was like super eye-catching otherwise. I think I mentioned most of the stuff that I was interested in already. Let me go ahead and link this on my Discord since it's been a little bit and I've gotten fairly far in. I'm able to talk about stuff that I wanted to without too much worry. I think I've covered all the Nindy stuff that I wanted to talk about. Overall, it's a pretty good presentation. It was a pretty interesting one. Nothing crazy, nothing amazing. I just liked it. It wasn't like it was super amazing and my favorite, like, direct-based thing I've seen in a while, but I did enjoy that, so kudos, Nintendo. You did a pretty good job with the presentation. I would have preferred some first-party stuff, but whatever. Give me a second while I decide what I want to bring up right now, because I do want to make sure I think of something I really want to talk about. Oops. Looks like I hit the wrong button on here. I guess this is something that I feel like wouldn't be bad to talk about. What's your guys' favorite, like, game franchises, out of curiosity? Stuff you just really enjoy playing? Stuff that you don't talk about too often, or stuff you do talk about often? Just curious, like, what do you guys like to play as your favorite game series? I'm not sure about mine. I think Pikmin is an easy one. I go to Pikmin to play, like, a lot when I'm bored. It's a series I do, like, at least usually like once a year playthroughs, or at least I used to. Nowadays, I don't do it as much. Hey everybody, welcome to stream. Yep, still trying to get the shiny. No luck right now. Good to see you, Mel. Glad you could make it. I've been having absolute crap luck. We're well past 17... Well, she wasn't say 1700, now we're past like 1750 and not getting anywhere. Speaking of that, I mentioned something earlier about this, which I'm concerned about. There's, like, conflicting reports at this, and, like shiny, and, like, these shinies and all the Regis, and, like, even, I think the Roamer Pokemon here actually are affected by the shiny charm. I'm not feeling super confident about the shiny hunt anymore. I was happy to start it and hopefully get things done relatively quick, but now people are arguing whether or not shiny charm works because the numbers are, like, conflicting whether or not it's actually working, because there's a lot of people who have, like, really high numbers, and there's a lot that have really low numbers. Apparently there's a lot of people who've had their shinies go past, like, 10,000, which I fucking am dreading the idea of potentially being into 10,000 encounters without any shiny on this. That's not something I want to deal with. Let me see. People out for Sonic? I guess that's fair. I mean, I'd personally like a lot of game franchises, but I can say, like, what's my favorite without thinking about it too much, I'd say. I mean, I guess it depends, though. There are a lot of series I enjoy. Pikmin's just the one I happen to gravitate to, is like one of my favorites, I think. I'm not sure what else. Like, I would say Yoshi. The only problem is that Yoshi is that kind of game series where there's a lot of problems with Yoshi with quality control. I swear with the Yoshi series, you see, like, one good game, and then before you even know it, you look and you see there's another crappy Yoshi game churned out that nobody wants to play, and it's like, yeah, kind of hard to defend the Yoshi series when it's been a victim of having, like, constant shift between good and bad games. I wanted to love it more, and I really love Yoshi's Island, but It's not really enough to just say Yoshi's Island. It doesn't have to make the whole franchise better, even if it is one of my favorite games of all time. Let me see. Pure plot franchise in the 90s. Adventures. Yeah, I played like a lot of platformers. I haven't played like a whole lot of old ones. I like to play some like older stuff, but I don't know if I play like a whole huge chunk of them. I'm trying to think. I guess I mostly played stuff like indie stuff. Like I might have played Meat Boy, played Celeste. Not sure if anything else I can name right off the top of my head. There's a lot of good ones that are out there, though. I've played like a little bit of Rayman. Rayman's pretty good too, and Mega Man and Castlevania are both fantastic platforming series, so kudos to how those two series are done. If I had to list another one, like Zelda is another really big one, even though I think Metroid comes like a little bit closer, just because I enjoy Metroid a lot. It's always really well done. They're very, very high quality games. It's unfortunate they're not very often that we see them. Zelda's like right after Metroid, though. Metroid would be probably near the top if it wasn't for the fact that the quality as of lately has been a little bit less than great. I mean, not that bad, though. Metroid's still a great series, and I really enjoy it. Also, the Mario spin-offs are, like, really good. I miss Mario Paint, though, if I was in, like, speaking specifically of, like, Mario spin-offs that I really, really enjoyed. Like, Mario Paint was fantastic. I remember playing it as a kid, and I think I got addicted to playing that game, just like sitting there doodling stuff and like playing the Fly Swatter game. I remember I'd like look at like the like prearranged stuff and like try to like observe like how to draw some of the stuff, even like trace it in my spare time, trying to get used to like actually drawing so I could learn how to do it myself. And it was a very, very good way to like drain away time. I feel like that was the kind of game that would be probably pretty well received if they released it again. I don't know if people would want to see a new Mario Paint or not, but I know I would. I'd be down to buy a new one if they did. I know they also made that Mario Artists thing. I've played that a little bit. I've not played like all of them, I don't think. They're pretty interesting and pretty fun little games. I feel like I'd like to revisit those games at some point, so I'd like to see more of that. Hold on a second, let me see. I see another chat message. Or do you have secretly a Mario Paint? Well, the same interface and tools as art games. Yeah, I remember that game. My biggest problem was I was like really bad about like sitting through and like making sure I got better with like learning how to handle everything. I didn't have a lot of patience to try and play it and sit down and get used to it, so I ended up never really getting into the creation aspect too much. And as much as I wanted to get into the aspect of playing the online micro games that people uploaded and like all the cool stuff, like it felt like the game was like really, really dead and didn't have like a lot of people who picked it up and uploaded stuff to it, which is a crying shame because that game was a fantastic title. The fact that there weren't a lot of people uploading any levels or many people actually buying it in general is just like, this game deserved so much more love than it got. I'm sure with a bigger audience, WarioWare DIY would have had like a much, much greater success and like much greater like user base of people like uploading stuff that was uploading stuff to like the online. I think part of it was the fact that it came out like near the end of the DS lifespan, so kind of didn't exactly make people like huge to buy it when it was on a dying console. I don't know. It was a good game though. I enjoyed it a lot. I'd say like out of the two DS WarioWare DIY was definitely the one I enjoyed more. I still liked WarioWare Touched quite a bit, but something about WarioWare DIY was special. It was a little weird. They had it set up where it was like, you need to buy 2 games, though, to get the whole experience, because if you bought just the DS game, you only got the, like, making experience, whereas they made the whole Wii counterpart that you're supposed to use for, like, playing the games on the TV and, like, can mess around with them there, too. think there was, yeah, they had that, and they had like even more like extra little mini games in the like Wii version. So there's a lot of fun stuff in that game. I enjoyed that. Wonder if they'll ever re-release like any of the DS stuff or even the GBA stuff. I don't think we're gonna see it anytime soon. I'm kind of surprised they haven't got like more emulators added to Switch Online, actually. Speaking of Switch Online, there was mention of like new games coming out on the Switch Online like very, very soon. I know Donkey Kong Country 3 is coming to the Switch Online, and there were also like several other games that were being released. I don't remember what they are. They seemed like fairly obscure games. If I could remember, I would mention them. And apparently Japan's getting some other games than we are. I'm not sure if I feel jealous or not of like how the distribution for the like online is. Like, it's a little weird seeing how there's like so many games that are like exclusively available on the Japanese counterpart that aren't available on the like American or any of the other like regions. Just they release them exclusively on the Japanese app. It's like at least you can download it and play it on your Switch without any problem, though. Let me see. Any WarioWare game? Is that anytime soon? Still kind of fresh in people's memory? Yeah, I know what you mean about that. I feel like they should have... Ugh, excuse my stomach. Ugh. I feel like they should really consider a brand new one. I don't know if WarioWare Gold sold well. I'm assuming it sold pretty well. I don't think people were too quiet about it. I'm assuming it got like 500,000 units, and if that's the case, then that's probably pretty decent considering the fact that it was on 3DS and it was dying, and I think Nintendo would take that into account, but like, if they're using that as an excuse to not release a new one, it's like, that's a pretty lame excuse, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we haven't had a brand new WarioWare game in so long, and I know people really want to see one. Like, we haven't had one with like a whole ton of new micro games and like the focus being on all new stuff. It's like, please, it's been goddamn like so long since the last main WarioWare game that wasn't like a hyper focused on some gimmick, and as a result, like, everybody's starved for seeing more WarioWare. Like, I'll be honest, I know the series kind of thrives on gimmicks to an extent since how DS and DIY, or WarioWare Touched, and WarioWare or Smooth Moves work, but I'm more referring to how WarioWare DIY was kind of a weird, different kind of WarioWare game than the rest of the series, and it kind of is a little weird to lump it in with the other games. Same with Game & Wario, because that doesn't even count as WarioWare. It's like, people want to see new WarioWare. I want new WarioWare really badly, please. If I could ask for any game from Nintendo right now, I would probably want to see a new WarioWare that's like a sequel to WarioWare Smooth Moves. WarioWare Smooth Moves was honestly like one of my favorite Wii games. That game was so good, and it managed to make the most interesting use out of the Wii Remote stuff too. So yeah, I would say yes, please give me a sequel to WarioWare or Smooth Moves, just like if it's even in the cards or even possible. I don't care if it's like mostly docked play. Sure, I'd like to have one that can be compatible in both modes, but a sequel to Smooth Moves would be fucking amazing. That game was way too good. That was pretty much the best WarioWare game in my opinion. All the micro games in that game stand out really well, and it just oozes personality, so yeah, I'd love to see more of that, honestly. Touched was good too, but Smooth Moves is my all-time favorite in the series. I didn't really, like, I'd like Touched, but I don't know if it'd be on my favorites and I go through, like, everything I remember from WarioWare. I think if I had to list, like, my top 2 or 3, Touched is either, like, number 3 or 4, maybe. I'd say, like, number 2 is probably WarioWare Twisted. WarioWare Twisted was really good. I got into it, like, kind of late, but when I picked it up, I remember checking it out and being, like, amazed how incredible, like, the little tilt cartridge worked. It was really, really handy and really, really fun to control. Like, it wasn't the most amazing thing in the world, but it felt fun, really fun. Anisset. And, like, those were some really good micro games. And the worst part of that is I don't think WarioWare Twisted will ever get a re-release. The rest of the series, I think, has, like, a possibility of at least getting a port or getting a re-release. They decide they want to do something with, like, Virtual Console and expand to, like, more systems. I don't think they'll ever bother with releasing WarioWare Twisted again, since it had, like, a specialty cartridge. I remember reading on this exact topic on, like, when it came to, like, Wii U stuff and emulating GBA games. Apparently people were talking about how, like, they didn't think that the games that worked on Tilt cartridges would be released because they had to, like, manufacture these cartridges to function different from the rest of the GBA games, and as a result, they'd have to, like, redo the controls specifically for a new release on Virtual Console. That honestly sucks, too, to think about. That was a good game, a really good game. I missed out on, like, quite a bit of, like, decent WarioWare stuff, I'm ashamed to admit. Not, like, all of it, but I didn't play, like, the original WarioWare until I think it was 3DS. I got it from the Ambassador program, and I remember playing it and really enjoying it. It was really fun. Same with the GameCube game, but for a different reason. I think I remember, like, reading about the GameCube game, like, back in the day, and all that advertising made the GameCube game sound like it was, like, a direct port of the Game Boy Advance game with, like, not much change, and I've looked up, like, YouTube footage, and it looks fairly different. All that advertising claiming it was just a port, though, kind of made me uninterested in picking it up, and now I wonder if maybe I should have bothered to get it anyway, despite the advertising. Sometimes I question Nintendo's marketing decisions. They have some really weird ones. All their Pikmin ads have been really, really weird, to say the least. And also, like, don't forget Earthbound. That was a hell of a fucking advertising campaign back in the day. This game stinks. Like, yeah, no wonder the game sold like shit. You made it sound like the game was terrible. It's like, no wonder nobody looked into it. Ugh. I have to question a lot of Nintendo's decisions, frankly. I mean, they've changed how they operate now, but still, ugh. Hopefully we get a new WarioWare soon. I'd like to have more WarioWare to play. Let's see, what else was anything else I wanted to talk about? Excuse me, while I was on the subject of WarioWare. I don't know if there's anything else I want to mention. I mean, I liked WarioWare. Or actually, not WarioWare, I meant to say that Game & Wario game, like, okay, it wasn't amazing. I found it more bearable than most people who played it, but that wasn't really a great game. I think I'm done talking about the series for the moment. Also, I've never really played Rhythm Heaven too much. I know you mentioned that. I've had passing interest in it. I think I played, like, a little bit on... I played the DS one, and I think I got the 3DS game, and I can't get used to the, like... the way Rhythm Heaven plays, frankly. I think my sense of rhythm is just really, really bad. I've tried multiple times. Every time I do, I end up getting, like, so far, and then I start fucking up. I think I'm not good at timing the music, and also on top of that, like, I'm not good at it, like I can do the visual cues to an extent, but they kind of make it hard to follow the visual cues on purpose. It's like, Rhythm Heaven seems like it's way beyond my skill level. When it comes to Rhythm Heaven, I'm just better off, like, sitting there and watching it. Great game series, but I kind of suck at playing it. Certainly like to get into it if I can get used to how it plays. I think the marketing team was in the 90s needed a lot of gross out, like, everything backfire. Yeah, I don't really blame you saying that. Like, I think I get what they were going for, but it seemed like it may have not been a very smart strategy what they were doing. Ended up backfiring really badly. I still don't understand why there's, like, so much hesitation to release, like, Mother 3 in the States. It's like... okay, I get that it was, like, part of it was, like, the demand came after the fact that the game was, like, already released, and it was, like, after the DS came out, like, it was the last major GBA game, but it's, like... not only was there a lot of support, there were, like, multiple opportunities they could have worked on it, and they would have gotten, like, a fair amount of like, praise for it, especially on, like, the Wii Virtual Console when they re-released it in Japanese. Like, everybody seems to be pretty happy with the game. At least most people play it, talk about it, and heap praise onto it, and talk about how good it is. I played it. I enjoyed the hell out of playing like the English translation when I did, and it's like, it's really good. The only thing I can say that I wouldn't imagine would be like good for them releasing it is there are some kind of weird parts in the game, and it's like, I don't know how they would translate that out with like some of the like scenes in the game. I feel like if they release it, they might possibly have to censor parts of the games. That's the only thing I'd be concerned about if they tried to release it. I don't know if that would be a problem or not. I feel like part of it's they're afraid to touch it. Let's see if I can select, enter, and localize cross-dressing men and drag. It's a 30-foot pole. Yeah, that's one thing. There's also a scene that kind of implies that Lucas may have been raped. It's not like it's completely implied that it's rape, but it's really, really weird and certainly not a very normal scene. It's something I imagine they'd be afraid to show in one of their games, and I imagine they're not only afraid of changing that, but they know that if they did, people would start griping about the fact they changed that scene. There's another few things in the game, too. There's like a few scenes that are like, I don't know if they would want to touch it because they're afraid of like fan reception to it. Like, for instance, when you get to New Donk City, not New Donk City, when I say New Donk, that's because I've got Mario Odyssey on the brain to an extent and like easy to misremember. New Pork City, that's it, yeah, New Pork City. There was like a thing where you see some of the stuff there, they literally have a fucking statue of Porky out in the like game, and you can see this statue that's like him peeing like in the fucking thing city. It's got no clothes, it's just him peeing into a fucking fountain. It's kind of weird and gross, and probably something I don't think they would want people to see if they release the game. Also, on top of that, like there's at least one other like really controversial scene that I can think of that's like really, really weird. I'm not sure they'd want to work around either. Like, I mentioned 2 out of 3 scenes I can think of. There's probably others that might actually be bad, but like, I think most of you guys who've seen the game probably remember there's a scene in the game where the game literally makes you ingest mushrooms. Like, you have to go on an island, you're nearly dead, and you have like 1 HP. The game makes you like take mushrooms in order to stay alive, and then once you do, everything starts getting really trippy, and like you basically see like Lucas and the party hallucinating and like going through this like forest. It's really, really weird, and it's like, I'm not sure Nintendo is comfortable leaving like a blatant drug joke in the game that like very clearly a joke about like mushrooms causing hallucinations in people. I don't know why that was even added in the game in the first place. Also, yeah, I don't think Captain Rainbow's ever going to get a release anywhere outside of Japan ever. That game's just too damn bizarre. It's a shame, though. That game seems like a pretty interesting game. I mean, I can't say I really blame them. Especially when somebody at Nintendo thought it would be a good idea to put a fucking side quest in the game where you have to fucking find a dildo for Birdo. Like, who in the fucking company thought putting a dildo in one of their games is a good idea? I cannot even remotely fathom why this was an idea somebody wanted to put in one of their games. Normally, Nintendo is fine. They make, like, their little kiddie games, but, oh, no, not with Captain Rainbow. They gotta make a really weird game that has a lot of strange themes in it for no good reason. I mean, I feel like the game overall, outside of that, it's, like, not too bad. That's the only bad thing I can think of that I remember from looking at Captain Rainbow. Unless they have some problem with their characters being depicted the way they are in the game, since it's like a lot of Nintendo characters that are unused and they're like obese or whatever because they're sitting around not doing anything. I don't think we're ever going to see like a translation for that either. I've seen so many people who've like tried to pick up Captain Rainbow and like end up dropping the project and then giving up. I think I saw like one ROM that's nearly done and nobody's bothered to like go back and finish like the last few lines and translate it all into English. It's like, it's really a shame. I'd like to play that game sometime. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this or not, but I kind of hate the idea of region-exclusive games. It's not like it's... you can just, like, see it completely go away, even with, like, region locking being gone. I'm glad region locking is not a thing anymore, and sure, if you're playing the right game, you can play it anyway, despite it being another language. If it's, like, platformer or something that's not text-heavy, yeah, just pick up the game, play it, and you won't really have any problem. But if you're playing something that requires, like, a lot of reading, yeah, I don't see how it's going to matter whether or not you play it with, like, Japanese text in it. It's like... This is why I don't see why people picked up and played, like, Mother 3 that couldn't even read Japanese. Like, what are you getting out of playing an RPG in Japanese when you can't understand Japanese? Like, there's literally no good reason for it. And I don't see how you would benefit from playing it. If you want to play it, wouldn't you want to play for the story? I don't know. I'm glad region locking is like became something that the industry seems to look down on more, though, because frankly, it feels like it's just anti-consumer more than anything. I'm glad we've gotten to the point where most systems are region-free now. Ugh, I don't know. There's a lot of games you could talk about that fall under the whole region locking category that are interesting subjects, though. I think Rhythm Heaven was actually like a region exclusive game for quite some time too. Kind of good that it actually got a release in like other areas though, because it deserved to have a chance to be able to go to like the States or wherever, just get releases in other countries where people could actually play it. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna save that topic because I don't want to talk too much about region exclusive shit right now. I mean, I don't mind talking about it, but that wasn't really what I planned to do, was talk exclusively about region locking and region and based stuff right now. I already enjoyed the whole Mindy's thing earlier anyway. Like, I'd checked it, I've watched it, and gathered my thoughts on it. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. There's some stuff I liked in it. I've already talked, like, most of the games I'm interested in. I can list, like, the ones that I remember, hopefully, that I had some interest in. Let's see. Spelunky 1 and 2 are two big ones that I'm already, like, really interested in because of, like, the fact they're both really popular. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to probably look into at least getting Spelunky 1. If I like it a lot, I'll probably go for Spelunky 2 as well. So, there's that. Disney Fluff looks really good, too. So, that's something I might consider picking up. I don't know. Really, really interesting little game by the looks of it. I want Cyber Shadow. It looks good. It looks like a really fun game. I didn't play Shovel Knight at launch, and I regret that, but, like, this game, I know it's going to be good. Yacht Club does a great job with all their stuff, so I'm going to look into that. Let's see, what else is there? I've already mentioned, like, most of the stuff I'm interested in. To be honest, since I'm going to talk about these things, I'm not really too interested in Among Us, because I feel like it's not the kind of game I'd be very good at. My social skills are probably the kind of social skills that need a little bit of extra work. I feel like I struggle in everyday conversation sometimes, and playing a game like that would feel like it's kind of pressuring for me, so I don't feel like I'd want to get into it. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in picking it up, and it'll probably be a good time. In fact, it's good that people are able to pick it up if they want to and play it on more platforms, but yeah, I'm not getting Among Us. I don't think I would really have any urge to play it. It's an alright game, though. Pretty decent, like, indie game. It is weird how it gained, like, popularity after being released for, like, 2 years with, like, no attention, but that's a discussion for another time. I wonder if they're going to have voice chat in it, if you can use, like, Nintendo Switch Online voice chat. I'm sure you can use, like, the keyboard for, like, keyboard for, like, touchscreen support. Anyway, let's see. Mentioned Among Us. What else was there? There's one other if I can remember. No, there's two others, I think. I can remember what I was thinking of, because I had, like, quite a few games, and I wanted to... Oh, yeah, Super Meat Boy. I'm not sure how to feel about that right now. I liked playing the original. Like, I'm not sure if I want to pick it up or not. There's a lot of other games that I'm interested in. I probably will get it over time. it took fucking forever for it to release, feels like, so I don't know. I still like Super Meat Boy, maybe I'll get it. I don't know, we'll see. Decent game. And then the other game I was thinking was that Happy game, I think, or whatever it's called. That looked pretty fun. I remember like that looking fascinating for a horror game. So that's all my stuff, just for like a recap, what I mentioned earlier. Hey, long time no see. Welcome to the stream. About Pokemon until Galar stuff happened. I mean, nothing really changed. They just released new Pokemon. I mean, they messed with the Pokédex, which is kind of weird. That's something I don't love. Hey, Kato Happy, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. I'm talking about quite a few things. Long time no see. I don't think I've seen you in my chat in quite some time, but welcome back. Oh man, brings back memories. Wish I had a more active chat. I don't mind though. I'm perfectly happy having just like a bit of chat conversation every now and then. Give me a second. I want to see. No, I need to work on this, but yeah, I'm gonna keep using my current strategy for streaming, where I can just open up a list I have open. It's easier for me to look at what I want to talk about this way. Give me a second. I'm gonna mark something on my thing here too. Actually, you know what? We'll just mark this. Take this off really quick. Is everything okay in the chat? I haven't seen a single like message in some time. Not really sure if everything's working or not. How do you guys feel about like top 10 videos? I'm curious. Like, I don't really love them. I'm not really against them. They seem like really low effort videos, though. Thought maybe some YouTube talk or talk about videos in general might be something good to bring up for right now and talk about. I think I've seen like a lot of YouTubers that use them as like filler content. I don't really care about them. I mean, they're alright. It's nice to see like people's opinions on stuff, but it feels like, yeah, they're everywhere. Watch Mojo is probably the biggest vendor of like posting like nothing but top 10 videos, and they're so goddamn lazy. Also, you want to talk some funny ones, like I feel like the ones that Shield made were pretty good. I don't think I've seen much of his stuff, but I remember the guy was basically memed for like all the different top 10 videos he made and how he pronounced stuff in them. That was something I found funny. Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. That video is fucking stupid. I love it though. Oh gosh, I haven't heard that one in a while. Also, I don't remember what it was. I think it's like a video about like top 10 boss battles or something, or top 10 villains in games. He's pronouncing villain names, and then he goes over Sephiroth and he calls it Sephiroth. Everybody made a joke about that too. I found that to be really funny. Frankly, I don't know how I feel about that whole subject matter. I think I've thought of making one. I don't want to make lazy content that's not very good, though. I don't feel like I'd be interested in making top 10 stuff. I don't know. You guys heard that clip? Actually, I guess I'll play it anyway. That whole Burger King foot lettuce thing. It's pretty stupid and pretty funny. I can play. I'm not going to have the video showing, but I can at least play the original clip. Give me a second. Is everything okay in the chat room? Like I said earlier, sorry if I'm asking like a lot and bothering anybody about it. I'm not trying to, just the fact I don't know if everything's working correctly. Okay, here we go. This is the clip I'm talking about.
Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out, that might be what you get. A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to the site showcasing his feet in a plastic bin of lettuce with the statement, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." Admittedly, he had shoes on, but that's even worse.
I think it's over. Let me just see. That video cracks me up when I hear it. It's a stupid Burger King foot lettuce. It's like, the last thing you want in your lettuce is someone's foot fungus. I just found out how stupid it sounds to be really funny. I can't help it. I think people have actually mentioned, like, this guy's videos, like, he has a fairly normal voice, and then And like later he got lazy and started making videos like this, and well, he started pronouncing stuff in videos like really dumb and kind of comical sounding, and that's what got a lot of attention to it, just the way he's pronouncing stuff. I don't know, something about that voice cracks me up, hearing that like lazy lack of effort he's putting into his video. Oh gosh. Something about this guy's stuff is really funny. I don't really care for top 10s too much though. I'm gonna not bother talking about it anymore right now, just because I feel like I don't really have a lot I want to say about this matter. I don't mind, but I don't think there's anything else I want to say there. Sorry if I'm not completely having anything interesting to say right now. I'm trying to keep my topics interesting. I just don't think there's a lot I've got on my mind at the moment. I've got more topics we can talk about though, so give me a second. Let's see. I'll mark that off for right now. Do you guys do exercise any out of curiosity? Actually, hold on a second. Is chat okay? I have said it earlier. Are you still there, Melee Kirby? Not really a big deal if you're not. I'm just checking because I couldn't tell if you're there and you're busy. I just want to make sure my chat's not breaking on me with messages before I continue talking. Chat, you guys do exercise very often? I'd try to do exercise every now and then. I'm not good about it. I don't feel like I exercise very much. Also, I mentioned earlier about, like, the stuff that kept me up last night. I was doing some stuff for Pokemon Go. I wanted to talk about exercise because of this, and this brought a decent bit of thought into my, like, discussion topics. I had thought of this, and it's like, I don't do a whole lot. Like, I don't get out very often. I used to do like weightlifting somewhat often. I would run a treadmill at my parents'. Nowadays, I don't find myself doing much of anything. Also, they released like and part of this is because I saw they released like that new shiny Celebi thing, and if you've ever wanted to go like recently, I've been trying to get my hands on that because I wanted to get the shiny Celebi. I thought it'd be nice to have one. I thought it was going to be limited time. Now I'm not so certain. The like tasks for it are fucking ridiculous. They have like a whole bunch of things. Like one of the first few aren't too bad. There's like catch 10 grass Pokemon. That's pretty easy. Transfer Pokemon's easy. That's another thing you have to do. And then there's also like evolve 3 grass type Pokemon, and they're the ones they're distributing for the event are like really hard to evolve. Like one requires a ton of candy. The other one requires like a specific item. It's really fucking poorly done, it seems like. It doesn't seem like it's very easy to evolve any of the Pokemon they give you, so unless you hoard stuff, it doesn't really work out well. I know you can do like the whole walking system with the buddy Pokemon, but right now, because of it being winter, it's like really cold and really hard to get out and like go walking, so I've not really been doing that any. But last night, going around like just playing in my apartment, like trying to spawn grass Pokemon to get the gold for like the first 3 out of the way as best as I could and get part of it done. I'd like to go out walking and do a little bit of exercise for Pokemon Go just to get part of this done to get the candy requirements to evolve Pokemon, but right now it's like freezing out there, I'm pretty sure. I hate the cold too. I'm not good with it, so naturally I'm not really inclined to want to go out there and try to stay out in the cold and try to get at like kilometers walk to cover the distance of how long I need to get a few candies in the game to get the task done. So yeah, I don't know if I want to deal with that. Not right away, at least. I know there's a few things you can do otherwise to reach it, like you can do some stuff with driving. Thought of doing that. I don't know. Don't know how that'll go. I don't mind going out and walking. I mean, like going out and walking is actually something I feel is kind of relaxing. I don't ever do jogging too much. I'm not too bad at that either, but I feel like I don't really get out enough, and I get tired from doing like too much jogging, so I don't ever do that either. I don't get out enough, frankly. Pokemon Go is making me think maybe I need to exercise more. Part of my New Year's resolution this year was going to be like trying to get out and go and exercise and try to get like a little more fit and try to meet some new people, and that just didn't end up happening at all. We didn't have a very good year thanks to COVID. Hopefully the vaccine's going to be fine. I know they've rolled out some of the first vaccinations, and I'm still not sure if I should go get one. I mean, they're not available in my area right now anyway, but like, I'm worried if there's going to be some unforeseen problems with the vaccine. I've heard about, like, different areas having high mortality rates with the COVID vaccine, so yeah, I don't know if I want to go get vaccinated or what. Obviously, it's not a bad idea, it seems like, but the idea of taking a vaccine that's not tested enough and then dying is not something I like the idea of, so yeah. Also, the side effects sound like they're very, very rough right now. I mean, obviously it's better than having COVID, but it doesn't exactly make me feel filled with joy to, like, think of the fact that I'd have to still deal with a lot of side effects to get rid of, like, all the side effects from the vaccine to get COVID vaccinated. I mean, I'd rather get vaccinated than not get vaccinated, though. I don't know, tough subject to talk about. I do want to get out and, like, actually be more active, though. I'm sad I didn't get to do much that I wanted to this year. Very, very dormant year where I didn't have to do much of anything, and I guess everybody kind of had it that way. The whole year's been messed up. Hopefully we get a better year next year and the vaccine will be rolled out relatively quickly. It really has been a shit start to a new, like, decade. By the way, what's everyone's plans for, like, New Year's resolutions? Assuming we're not all stuck inside of our houses trying to wait for COVID to be cured still. If you guys have anything you want to bring up about that and mention, if not, it's not really a big deal. Just thought I would ask and see what people say about that. I don't think we've had a shiny yet. We've still been doing this, and goddamn, we've gotten this far without any results. This is kind of painfully slow. I can tell this day is going to be very, very long, isn't it? Hoping I'd get done within, like, 4 hours. I don't know if we're going to get the shiny or we're going to get 2,000 encounters in 4 hours or not. And I won't be streaming tomorrow, and I don't think I'm going to be streaming on Thursday either. Hold on a second. I want to talk about exercise a little more. I'm not sure if I should get a, like, gym membership. I wanted to do one for the sake of, like, going and meeting new people at a gym. That was part of my reason. What are some good exercise to do? Just, like, treadmill? That's not bad. Be on a treadmill and try to practice running. Also, like, lifting weights wouldn't be bad. I'm not sure, like, what all a good, like, regimen for exercising is. I guess, like, also doing fist pumps and trying to, like, increase your strength in your hands wouldn't exactly be a bad idea either. Kind of stuff I think I'd want to do. I guess my New Year's resolution for this next year is, well, to start, obviously, get a new cell phone. I'd probably like to get a dog as well, and the biggest one that I've been hoping for is, I want to meet somebody and try to start a relationship. That'd be something I'd be interested in doing for New Year's resolution. Don't know if that'll all go according to plan. I mean, I would hope so, but I don't know what to think right now. It's been a really, really rough year. I'm going to leave this as a topic to talk about, at least for the New Year's resolution, so I can discuss this more if anybody wants to. Give me a second or two. Did I not list this on my thing? Give me a second or two, guys. I guess I didn't. I don't see it on my... Oh, there it is, yeah. One moment. Okay, I think we're good. Just to check, everything is okay in the chat room, right? Like I said, I have not seen any messages other than my own in some time, and I don't know if there's anything wrong. Sometimes YouTube's counter is glitched, sometimes it's not, so hard to say. Whatever, I'm just gonna keep talking. Try not to let it bother me, not think about it too much. Let me check on a thing or two before I move along and focus on reading down what all I want to talk about. There's a few things in my mind. Let's see. Okay, I think I know something I want to talk about. Give me a second to deal with something really quickly. I don't think I added that up yet either. Okay, there we go. Right. Here's another good topic that might be worth talking about. What's everyone's favorite boss fights in games? Stuff you remember really well. Can be anything you can think of, whether it be like Sephiroth and Final Fantasy, even something like Bowser in a Mario game, like a particular Bowser fight, or whatever, it doesn't matter, like what you guys talk about. I can think of like a lot of good boss fights. I'm not sure what my favorites are, though. I think the final boss of Yoshi's Island takes it for like one of the better ones in my opinion. That's a good one that I remember really well. Just the way they present the final boss fight is chilling and gives me like it makes me think and like how spine-tingling it is when I saw it the first time when I was younger. Something about that was done really, really well. Gave you a slight sense of dread, and that was a really, really great final boss fight. Same with Pikmin 3, that was done really, really well for plenty of reason. They just built off of like what they had did really, really incredibly well. I'm not going to spoil why, but like it was like an evolution, one of the best fights in Pikmin 2. Also, on that same note, I enjoyed Pikmin 2 quite a bit, and the Water Wraith, good lord, that thing is fucking scary. First time you see it pop up in a game, fucking drops out and fucking and nobody understands what the fuck is going on. Kills your Pikmin, you don't have an easy way to get rid of it, and you can't kill it until you reach like the last floor. Fucking crazy and weird and very, very unsettling for like a first time you bump into it. Pikmin 2 had a lot of boss fights I really enjoyed. Giant Bread Bug was also interesting, how they had the whole idea of lug around items and basically play tug of war with the boss and try to kill it by hauling stuff back to your ship. That was a pretty interesting little way they handled that. Also, that goddamn man-at-legs boss. I don't know if it was actually something I found to be amazing, but the fact they made a boss fight where the fucking spider with a machine gun definitely caught my attention. That was a very, very weird boss design, and I don't know who the fuck was like in charge of designing the boss, but congratulations, you managed to make a really, really weird boss that actually caught like not only my attention, but I'm sure a lot of Pikmin players' attention. I'm sure a lot of people thought that was fucking weird as fuck. Seeing not only a gun in a Nintendo game, but a fucking spider wielding a gun. That was fucking bizarre. Also, it makes you question the in-game lore. Like, who the fuck makes a robot spider and then decides that attaching a fucking machine gun to it is a good idea? So my allergies are acting up kind of badly. I'm gonna have to take some pills in a bit if it gets too bad. Right now, it's not like it's really out of control, but just in the off chance that it ends up being bad, I might take some and have to take a quick BRB break, so we'll see how that goes. I'll mention a few more boss fights that I can remember that are good, like things I can remember. Let's see, what else is like really good stuff that I can remember? I like the way they handled like Gahirhim and Skyward Sword as well, although that one was kind of a weird one. That was a little bit on the hard side for a first Zelda boss. They sit there saying you telegraph your attacks, but not really. The way they make you try to figure out how you attack him for the first time is confusing and feels like it takes a bit to fucking figure out how you actually fight the boss, and that was one I didn't really happen to be like have a very easy time with. I found all the bosses in Skyward Sword were pretty good though. That was a fun Zelda game, and I liked the story in the game. I found like the emphasis on story to be pretty neat, seeing a Zelda game. I just genuinely enjoyed playing it. Skyward Sword is a good time. Let's see, another big one that's memorable Zelda-wise fucking thing is that Georg thing. Just the fact that it's that giant fish that kills you really easy, really fucking creepy design. That thing was not a fun fight. That was a very hard boss fight. You don't have like a lot of health if you don't go through side quests, and you get killed easy. And the fish has this fucking terrifying face to it. I feel like they took away from it by putting that mask on it in the 3DS version. It was creepier without the weird Majora mask thing. Speaking of Majora's Mask, like, final boss fight, like, the whole Majora final boss thing was kind of unsettling. It wasn't terrible, but it was certainly really weird and a bit on the creepy side. I did not like find myself loving every moment of that fight. It was designed, it was a really good boss fight, but yeah, that fight was a little on the weird side, a little on the creepy side in a few areas. Majora's Mask did a really good job of unsettling the player, like how it handled its environments. I feel like that game was a very good Zelda game. Overall, like a huge favorite of mine. Still haven't got anything to show for this yet, do we? We've been at this for so long, too. Hopefully we get it today. I mean, if we don't, then whatever, but like, I dread the idea of going on for over a week of me playing in stream days and putting in at least 2 hours every day and still not having anything to show for it. Also, while we're on the topic of like boss fights, I might have to bring up final boss fights a little later. I'm not gonna bring that up right now, but I thought that'd be a worthwhile point of discussion to bring up. Maybe we'll do that at some point, talk about it some more. Maybe later in the stream or whatever. Give me a second or two. I'm gonna go and like quickly mark this off my list too. Let me see. Let's see. Give me a moment or two. Just thinking right now. I'm gonna mark a few things while I'm busy before I say anything. Just give me a second or two. Alright, here's another talking point we can talk about for a little bit, something I feel like would be a decent talking point. How do you guys feel about DLC in games? I'm not big on it. I don't mind it. I don't play it all the time. If there's a game I like and I enjoy, I'll probably look into the DLC and probably pick it up, but don't always enjoy it. I'll say the Crown Tundra DLC for this game, I feel like it's pretty well done. Designed in a way that's fairly fun to play through, fairly interesting. Not the best DLC I've ever seen, but like it definitely adds a lot of time to the game. Makes it a better experience in my opinion. I like this DLC quite a bit. I don't love the Isle of Armor stuff, but since it's like a bundle, then yeah, I'd say they both like complement each other pretty well. They're not bad. They both do a decent job of like working together for that goal of trying to achieve like a decent expansion pass. But I don't think I've seen an expansion pass for a game, or at least not mentioned like this, like in a long time. I know it's all DLC, but still, like, I think expansion passes were kind of something you don't see anymore, because it's like, they were like big extra parts of games that would like be sold to you for, I guess, like about the price of like a new game, maybe like half a game sometimes, like it'd be like $20 or $30. Expansion passes are like, I think they're pretty much gone. I still enjoy like playing them sometimes though. Some pretty decent ones out there. I don't think I even ever bought too many of them though. I don't know if I'm caught or not caught. I don't know if I've ever like counted this one or not. I'll just like skip counting it then. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Expansion passes are something I have a lot of experience with when I was younger. They seem alright though. Quite a bit of extra content. Buy like an add-on, get quite a bit of more stuff to play around with. I know World of Warcraft has had like a whole bunch of expansion passes in its time. DLC's pretty similar, I think. So I mean, I do enjoy some DLC depending on how well it's done. Breath of the Wild's DLC is something I didn't really find to be amazing. It wasn't terrible. I mean, the extra shrines were kind of neat. I enjoyed like checking those out. The Champion's Ballad stuff was pretty good. The first bit had some good quality of life changes. I didn't find Master Mode great. There was some alright stuff in the Breath of the Wild DLC, but not really my cup of tea. I will say, like, I feel like the content that was in the original Hyrule Warriors was very good DLC-wise. If there's anybody new here, welcome to stream. We're just talking about whatever right now. I've been talking about DLC for a little bit. But yeah, like I was saying, excuse me, sorry, I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied. Hyrule Warriors had good DLC. I felt a little bit annoyed when I saw that they released, like, 3DS version with, like, all the DLC, and that felt like it was like, well, I wasted my money. They get extra content and more DLC, and we paid, like, $20 to get DLC and not even all the stuff they get. That was kind of just lame feeling. I mean, at least it all got ported to the Switch, and I could buy it, and I got it all on Switch. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. The Hyrule Warriors DLC was good, though. It gave you a lot of content, and that was a game that was already crammed with content, where there was a lot of good stuff. I think there's, like, rumors of DLC for, what is it called again? Age of Calamity. I've not played that yet. I've been meaning to. I've been really broke and not had a lot of money to spend right now, so I haven't been able to pick up Age of Calamity, and I've been wanting to pick it up. Apparently the story's not super long, like it's like 20-ish hours long. I'd have to check how long to beat says, but I've read online from people saying that it's like 20. I'm gonna get that at some point. I hope the DLC's good. I feel like if it's one thing I'd be wanting to look into is there's like a decent amount of content. It wouldn't bother me either way, but the one way I judge my games, you can say what you think whether or not it's wrong. I tend to go off of like dollar per hour value. I know it's not the way you should judge all your games, but it's a good merit for a lot of games. If you get a game and you pick it up and you can get like at least 60 hours of it, then yeah, you've gotten roughly like exactly the dollar value, excuse me, my God, I'm getting really tongue-tied right now for some reason. Exactly the dollar to hour value. I must just go that how that's like said. Just enough to make it like worth like a full price game. And it's not necessary for every game. Some games are high quality and really good and they don't need that. Like, I think it's a decent way to judge most games. It works for smaller games too. I feel like a lot of cheaper games I can meet that kind of standard I'm looking for. I've had a lot of good games that I've really enjoyed that have like done like well past that. I probably logged like 200, 300 hours at least into Breath of the Wild, and I know I've logged at least like 500 or more into Mario Odyssey, probably going for every single moon. I gotta say, Mario Odyssey's a bit of an odd point for me to talk about, like, this is just like talking about 3D Mario in general, but like, I'm not the biggest fan of Odyssey. I don't mind it. I think it's a good game, but I feel like Odyssey is kind of one of the weaker 3D games in the series just because they put so much emphasis on putting like a huge number of moons in the game. They didn't put like a huge amount of like focus on how quality some of them were. There were a lot that were just like haphazardly thrown around in the environment, and I feel like as a result some of them were kind of boring moons that weren't very good. They were just like, oh hey, look over here and jump in this spot and grab a moon, or ground pound this area, or like do like a short amount of coin collecting or whatever. Nothing that was like crazy. A lot of them were pretty good, but as many good moons there were also a large handful of crap moons, and it's like, yeah, there may be like 800 plus moons, but I'd rather they do like, say, 200, 300 like moons and have like maybe 5 bad moons than have 800 moons plus and then have like 200 to 300 bad moons. I feel like it's just better to have an overall like higher quantity of purely good moons and nothing bad. And I feel like most older Mario games like definitely knew where to draw that line. I don't feel like I saw that many in Sunshine Galaxy and the original Mario 64 that like went too far with that. I will say Sunshine had some problems in that area. I'm not going to completely say Sunshine was very good about that, because Sunshine had blue coin shines, and if I'm being honest, I can't just overlook the blue coin shines. They're done really, really poorly. There's no way to really track them. You can see like how many you've got total and like see like how many you've got for an area, but you don't know like which coins you're missing or whatever. it's really easy to fuck it up and then end up having trouble finding everything you want to look for, and they kind of feel like filler content, to be honest, so yeah, blue coins are kind of really badly done, in my opinion. I'd rather they have not been in Mario Sunshine. Hang on a second, I can't tell if the chat's working or not. It's not that I'm don't know and it's not working or not, but it's like I see people pop in and then I never see messages, and sometimes I wonder if it glitches out because I've seen YouTube's chat like freak out and not work, so I don't know if it's still good or not. Let me try sending a message in it at the very least then. Yeah, seems like it's okay. Also, Mario 64, since we're on the topic of talking about 3D Mario, like Mario 64 has the coin shine, or coins and stars, and same as other in like Mario Sunshine. I feel like the coin stars and coin shines are not the best. They're not really terrible, but yeah, they're definitely not the best in terms of collectible content. I'd say they're a little bit on the lame side. What are we doing time-wise? Looks like we're at hour 35, still ways off from reaching 200 encounters too. Oh boy, okay. This is what I was worried about, is that I have to go through a long stream sitting here talking about whatever. It's not really a big deal, just like it can get exhausting sitting here for talking, like, I guess I can count it now, but yeah, like sitting here going through this, talking about whatever, and go on for like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm not used to doing it all the time. Especially not in a game like this, where I would rather be doing whatever and talking about other stuff, not just purely talking about whatever comes to mind quickly just to discuss stuff. I mean, I don't mind doing that either, but it's easier when I can look at the game I'm playing and talk about it more and say things about the game, things I like, rather than focusing purely on just whatever comes to mind immediately. It's very, very awkward, to say the least. Other games, I can do that much easier. I'm stuck in the same area just doing this shiny hunting, though, so it's a little bit less than great, in my opinion. Oh well, whatever. Let's see, where were we? We were talking about a lot of things, and I got sidetracked. I was talking about, like, Mario Odyssey a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't do Mario Odyssey DLC. I think that's what we were talking about, was DLC. Frankly, when it comes to DLC, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's alright. Depends on how it's done. I had a good time with the Pikmin 3 DLC back when it was on the Wii U. I know they put it all on the Switch version for free, and I'm fine with that. It, like, that was a good, decent chunk of DLC. Gave you, like, quite a few things to do in that game. I enjoyed that. There's something I was wanting to mention regarding DLC, and I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, I like seeing free updates to games as well. I like seeing, like, what devs can do when they keep supporting games. Like, Valve always did, like, they said they would do DLC, and they did their updates for free. They did, like, at least, like, 2, maybe 3 campaigns for Left 4 Dead you could get. Those were pretty good, in my opinion. I enjoyed playing those, so those were fun. Same with the Portal updates and Team Fortress, those kind of things. I enjoyed that. Free DLC is always good. Or updates, whatever you want to count it, but yeah, that kind of thing. I enjoy that. That's another good topic to talk about, but we'll wait a little bit. Any other good DLC things I should mention that I haven't brought up yet? I mean, Smash DLC seems pretty good, even though it's not... I'm not sure if it's the best DLC I've ever seen, but, like, you get a decent amount of content for your value. You get some pretty good stuff, so I'd say Smash DLC is handled well enough. The DLC fighters so far have been pretty decent, even though I'm not really huge on the second fighter pass so far. Just Sephiroth has really caught my attention, nobody else yet, but I'm still going to pick it up, I think, and get it now. Hopefully the rest of the fighters are just as interesting. Hopefully. Mario Kart 8 also had good DLC. Those, like, 4 cups they added to it when it was in, like, the Wii U version. That was something that was really good. I enjoyed playing on those. See, any other big-name DLCs that were pretty good that I can think of? DLC is a pretty interesting topic to discuss, like, best DLC. I like seeing ones that are good enough to be standalone games, too. Those are usually fun. I feel like I see those too often. I know Xenoblade 2 did that. I think I played that Xenoblade 2 DLC, and I didn't really get into it, but I never picked up Xenoblade 2 to begin with, and trying to get into that DLC was a little bit complicated. Also, the New Super Luigi U thing from, like, years back when New Super Mario Bros. U was like a new game. That was a pretty decent standalone DLC. Not my favorite. That was a good one, I think. What else? Are there any more that I want to mention before I stop? I'm just thinking if there's any other good ones. Can't think of any others that come to mind. At least not right away. Give me a second or two to think on this. I can't name anything else that comes to mind right now. I mean, Mario Galaxy 2 almost felt like DLC, but that was like a whole other game. It was really, really good. Had as much thought put into it as another game or an expansion pass. It was really, really a fun experience, so there's that. Give me a moment or two just to think if there's anything I want to talk about. In terms of DLC stuff, I think I'm pretty much done with it, but just thinking if there's any other stuff. No, I think I've talked about it as much as I can think of. Okay, that's fine. Just trying to make certain if I had talked about everything I wanted to regarding DLC. Let's talk about free updates for a little bit, see how you guys feel about that. You guys played multiplayer stuff very often? I mean, I guess most people played some multiplayer. I like seeing like what devs do to update the games and keep them alive. That's another thing that's similar to DLC. I'm not sure what my favorite game with like multiplayer and like favorite like game with free updates would be. I used to play a lot more multiplayer stuff nowadays, not super often. I mean, I still enjoy playing it, but I haven't played any big name multiplayer things for too long. Like, not very often. Give me a second or two, actually. Checking on a tiny thing here. Okay, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, talking about free updates. I mean, Fall Guys, I had some interest in for a while. Frankly, Fall Guys was alright. It kind of fell off, no joke intended. The updates are pretty decent. The game was fun, but yeah, I didn't really happen to keep my interest in Fall Guys. It felt like it was too much of the same, and they didn't add like a lot of the community requested features very quickly. Like, I don't think they have custom lobbies yet. They talked about making custom game modes, but I don't think either of those things that people were wanting got added yet, so I would imagine a lot of people lost interest waiting on new features to get added, and they had a lot of the same, like, little challenges the whole time out playing it, and I think it got a little bit stale doing the same stuff over and over again. Why? I don't know. Is it one of the more creative, more interesting Battle Royale games? Yeah, I'd say it's more interesting and better, but not really the kind of thing that I found to be, like, the most amazing Battle Royale. It was a pretty good one, though. I enjoyed it. It's not something that lasted a long time for me. The time I played it was good, though. Battle Royales are a whole interesting topic to talk about. I'm sorry if I'm, like, getting really loud. Sometimes I have problems controlling my volume with my voice, and I end up shouting unintentionally when I'm talking. That happens, it's like making things a little hard to listen to, then I apologize. I'm really, really bad about keeping my voice volume low sometimes. It's not intentional, it just happens. The other good free updates I can mention. I mean, Nintendo does like quite a bit of like free updates. Seems like Splatoon got some. ARMS had some really, really good ones, adding like all the extra fighters. I enjoyed playing and doing that. I know that a game like Ninjala has free updates as well. I don't really care about that one, though. I don't play it any. Tetris 99 is another good example of free updates. That's a game that has like a lot of really, really good free updates that I enjoy playing. So yeah, I'll always keep up with like playing that and try to play it every now and then. Tetris 99 is a good time in my opinion. I do like it quite a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trucking through and playing more and more Tetris 99. It's a great game. It's a great battle royale game. I want to talk about more battle royales right now tonight or not. I don't know. I wonder how Mario 35 is doing. I haven't played that in a while because it got a little bit tiresome doing the same levels, and they don't seem to be updating it any. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to keep playing nothing but Mario 1 levels. I got myself burned out on it a little bit quicker than I was anticipating since they mentioned it was limited time, and I think I rushed to play it, and yeah, I ended up getting burned out too fast. If they hadn't put that limited time thing on, I'd probably be still playing it, I bet. I don't know, depends. Any other free updates that are worth mentioning on stuff? Any good things? Just like one more thing if I want to bring up any. I mean, Mario Maker, that's the last thing I can think of. Mario Maker, both 1 and 2, did some great updates, like keeping the content like there and adding plenty of new stuff that people could work with, making sure the games had lots and lots of stuff to keep the accessibility there, making it easier to build new levels. That's something I liked about Mario Maker. Mario Maker 2 as well. I haven't played either one of those games in some time, so yeah, I'd like to go back and play more Mario Maker again, play more on stream maybe sometime soon. I do miss Mario Maker a little bit. It's a pretty decent game. Both of them are. Although, namely, yeah, I'd play Mario Maker 2. I think Mario Maker 1's like kind of dying, so makes sense that it wouldn't be a good idea to go back and play Mario Maker 1 right now. I know Nintendo is going to kill the online support for Mario Maker 1, so I guess that game's gone. Rip Mario Maker. Not like it's that big of a deal, but still. How old is Mario Maker now? Like 4 years? Kind of incredible that it lasted that long and got so much popularity. Or maybe it wasn't even 4, maybe it's 5 years, actually. Let's see what Google says. I think it's 5, actually. I want to say 5, unless I'm mistaken. See what it says when I look it up, though. That was like the one game I remember like looking forward to for Switch, and I'm glad it came out just like I wanted Mario Maker, because it was my favorite game on the Wii U. It's like I wanted it to come out for so long. Glad it got released, at least on Switch, as Mario Maker 2, but like, God, it took a long time before they actually fucking made it. Like 5 years, not 5 years, it was 4 years, I guess, wasn't it? Or was it? Mario Maker 2 is 2019, I believe, yeah? Unless I'm not thinking straight right now. Give me a second to check this. I'm pretty sure I'm right about it being 2019. Oh, I gotta be honest, sitting here and not getting any results, like waiting all this time, it's definitely grating sitting here and not seeing any progress. 1860 and we're still sitting here, no shiny yet. I just want to see progress. I want to see my Regidrago get done so I can move along to a new shiny hunt. If I get the shiny Regidrago, I'm probably going to stop the stream like relatively shortly after I get it, I think. I mean, I don't mind streaming a little more, but I think I would rather not do too much. Today was kind of an impromptu session where I wasn't sure if I was going to. I wanted to do the stream for the sake of making sure that I got this out of the way and done. I still think I might have forgot to add something, but whatever, I'm going to ignore that and not worry about it too much. What are we doing time-wise? Looks like we're still at 1860. Yeah, okay, so a little bit longer and we'll get to 200. I'm not stopping until 300 encounters today, though. I told myself I'd get 2,000, and that's my goal, is to make it all the way up to 2,000. Alright, give me a second. I want to talk about some other stuff. I'm going to think on what I want to talk about. I guess we can bring this up. How do you guys feel about microtransactions in games? I'm not going to talk about this for like a long time. This kind of relates to the DLC stuff I was talking about. Personally, I don't like them. I find them to be awful. They're really, really lame. They prey on people. See them in a lot of games, and it's like, I don't want to deal with like stuff that's meant to suck money out of you and get you to spend like quite a bit and just add up over time and spend like God knows how much money on getting microtransactions. It's like I've played quite a few games that encourage the player to keep spending to get microtransactions and get stuff, and it's really easy if you start spending in those games to like encourage the player and keep them going until they've wasted like way too much money. I'd spent way more than I was okay with in Team Fortress 2 back in the day, so there's that. I've learned my lesson to stop with that. I think now, and I only do it if it's like one time, or if I feel like I can comfortably control how much I'm going to spend in microtransactions. I haven't bought anything in Fortnite. I haven't bought anything in Fall Guys. I mean, that game's pay to play, or pay to buy, I should say. Not pay to play, but yeah, pay to buy anyway. It's like, I don't feel like I'd want to pay for any of the cosmetic items. I'm probably going to make a microtransaction purchase in like Pokemon Go just for the sake of getting that Celebi, so I don't end up missing out on the chance to get my hands on the shiny Celebi. So it's like, normally I wouldn't, but I'm thinking it might be a good idea just so I can get this one shiny out of the way, since I don't know how long I've got in time before I can end up missing my chance at it, or rather not miss the shiny Celebi altogether. I don't know. It's something that's not very easy to get your hands on, and the only other alternative is to do Gen 2 and do it through Pokemon Crystal version, so yeah, I would rather not have to miss it. I don't know. Let's see, what else is there that I think most free-to-play games do it. I hate microtransactions. It's not great. I guess in some scenarios they're not bad. If it's not pay to win, that's especially like the big thing where it's not a big deal. Mostly cosmetics. That was my own fault in TF2, but yeah, I was bad about that. Loot crates are the worst. That's what got me to spend so much, and I regret that really badly. Like, it may as well be marked as gambling, like people have tried to argue, and very predatory to get people to buy into it and like try to gamble away at a chance to win something when they're not actually getting anything worthwhile. TF2 kind of invented the whole fucking loot crate shit and made it out of hand, so much as I liked the game, yeah, I can't praise it for making loot crates popular. That's like a big problem I have, is seeing loot crates in games, especially when they want you to spend money to open them. I guess there's a few instances where it's not too bad to like spend in a game, but it depends on how it's done. I think when you boil it down, I don't see there's like much good reason to have microtransactions. Maybe I'm wrong. I think in most scenarios it's like I'd rather spend my money on DLC if I'm going to spend my money on microtransactions. So yeah, I don't know. Thought I'd be able to have a little more I'd want to bring up in microtransactions. I'm not sure if there's anything I want to bring up actually any further, so we'll just mark this topic off the list. Give me a second or two. I'll look at what else I want to talk about and see anything else I want to bring up in a second. Give me a moment or two. Let's see. Here's another topic that might be good for a little bit of discussion. Whether or not people are interested in talking about it, I don't know. Something I thought of that I wanted to bring up on another stream and I hadn't mentioned. What's everyone's favorite animal? Namely, aside from pets, you're welcome to discuss your pets and talk about them if you want to. Just figured I'd ask. Like, I'd love dogs and I love cats, but I was hoping to hear what people find to be the most fascinating in terms of animals. What animals they like the most out of all the wildlife they've seen. Whether or not they like hearing about it or reading about it or something they've actually seen in the wild. Rabbits are kind of cute. I like rabbits some. I don't really know if I'd love them as my favorite type of animal, honestly, outside of pets, though. They're alright. Birds are pretty. I just don't like the way a lot of birds are noisy, whether it's singing or whatever, and I know roosters will wake you up in the morning, which is really goddamn annoying if you live on a farm and then hearing a rooster fucking end up cockadoodle doing and waking you up? That's annoying as fuck hearing that. It's not very pleasant wake up, to say the least. Let's see, what else? I mean, porcupines look kind of neat. I like turtles, and I like, say, frogs a bit. I mean, frogs, on the other hand, even though I like them, one thing that scares me a little bit is I'm not good at identifying stuff like poisonous stuff, so I don't really touch them very often. I wouldn't want to deal with, like, a poisonous frog. I'm not sure if I could identify a frog that's poisonous just by looking at it. But frogs are pretty cool overall, I'd say. I do like frogs. They're very, very neat creatures. Something about them being amphibious and seeing them, like, get out of the water and be able to be on both land and water is kind of neat. I just find frogs are fascinating. Also, I like how their tongues are, like, retractable. They're just a really, really weird species that have some pretty neat features to them. I like them, though. They're kind of cute. They're pretty great. Turtles are something I'd find cool as well, but turtles are for a different reason. Turtles kind of worry me a little bit, because it's like, even though I like them and I think they're cool, it's like I wouldn't want to touch them, because I don't want to deal with the idea of being bit by a snapping turtle. They're still really great animals, though, and I find them to be really, really neat. I've always thought turtles were cool. Also, you guys ever seen, like, I don't know if it's a turtle, I'm thinking of, like, a sea turtle or whatever. You see them, like, beached, and then you see them getting in the water. You can see, like, in some instances where they end up moving and they like, shimmy really quickly and get in the water. They, like, look at them, it's like, holy shit, didn't ever know a turtle could go that quick. Really something to see a turtle, like, rush and jump in the water like that. Throat's acting up. Yeah. It feels really, really neat to see, like, stuff like that when you're watching stuff. I remember saying that only, like, once, but it was a thing where it was, like, mind-blowing. Just knowing, like, oh, wow, they can actually go faster than they normally do. Just, you wouldn't know it just looking at them, because I don't think most people see turtles actually move kind of quickly. They usually just move slowly. Turtles are pretty fascinating, though. I think turtles usually outlive humans. At least I know sea turtles do. I know they live, like, till, like, 150 or 200 or something. Must be crazy being able to live that long. Meanwhile, we only live, like, 100. It's still quite a bit, but it's, like, 100 years feels really goddamn short when you really put it into retrospect, honestly. It's not exactly a whole lot of time, even if it is more than most animals on the planet. Let's see. Thinking on other animals that I like looking at, others I find fascinating. Platypus is interesting to me because they're weird. I think platypuses can be, like, toxic. Like, they have, like, ability to poison you. That's something that's scary, that's a little weird. They're also got, like, a lot of weird traits together. They're such a, like, freak of nature animal, and yet that's part of what makes them fascinating. They're so bizarre and different from everything else out in nature. It's really neat to, like, look at them and see, like, all their different traits they have that a lot of other animals have. They have the beaver tail, they have the duck bill and, like, webbed feet. They look weird. They lay eggs, and I think they're still qualified as a mammal. Platypus are a very, very strange type of animal, to say the least. Very, very different from everything else, I'd say. Very, very unique animal, too. Also, for God's sake, it'd be great if we could get a shiny at some point. Still not getting anything. I don't know, I get the impression we're not going to see anything until at least 2000 has passed. I don't want to even sit here and wait that long, but I have a feeling we're not going to get much of a choice, and we're going to be stuck here doing this until it happens to be at least 2000. Also, echidnas are fascinating. I don't know why. They're like one of the weirder breeds of mammals, too. Something about them is interesting. I think they also might lay eggs. They're very, very unique and odd-looking. Can't say why I'm so interested in seeing an echidna, though. I don't really know for certain what it is about them that I find interesting, whereas platypus, I can say their weirdness is just something I find fascinating, frankly. Platypus are a very, very odd species. Also find anteaters to be another, like, interesting species. Anteaters are just really, really odd looking and very, very neat. They fill out a very simple role with, like, their long tongues eating ants, and yet they look very, very odd. They fill out a role that no other animal does, and they look very funny, but they're kind of cute in a way. I don't know, anteaters are certainly something. I think I've read about anteaters being as pets in, like, some like video, like an exotic pet. I don't think I'd ever want to own a pet anteater. It'd just be weird to have something like that for a pet, frankly. I don't know if that's exactly something you should do either, having an anteater for a pet. Seems like it'd be a little weird. Maybe not the most humane either, I don't know. I'm not the best on talking like that kind of stuff. I'm not an animal expert, so I don't know. The other animals that are worth talking about, whales are always great to talk about. I feel like I just like talking about whales. Sucks seeing when they get beached. Also, a lot of people hunt them. I feel bad when I hear about people whaling and, like, killing them. That's the wrong word. You know what I'm talking about, though, where people hunt them for sport and then kill them. Whales genuinely seem like very, very good creatures. They're also, like, one of the like, well-known aquatic mammals. Kind of want to talk about, like, underwater or, like, wildlife, or whatever the right word is, like aquatic creatures, some too, so we might do that in a minute or two. I'll come back to that subject in a little bit. Whales are great. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's see. What else is there? Maybe a few others I can think of. There's a lot of cool different wildlife out there, though. Bugs are fascinating, too. Like, I don't love bugs. I don't like them a whole lot, but bugs are always a neat, like, topic. Hearing about, like, anything from bees and how they pollinate stuff to, like, how caterpillars go under metamorphosis, any kind of thing like that's pretty neat to hear about. Don't really love hearing about bugs, though. There's some neat ones out there, though. Another good one to talk about. Are tanukis an actual animal, or is that a mythological thing? Tanukis have an interesting, like the way they're talked about is interesting. I find tanukis to be something that's worth bringing up. Say, outside of that, bears and also raccoons or something I find to be fascinating as well. I don't know if there's any others that come to mind as, like, big ones. Maybe, like, stuff like cats or monkeys or anything, like wildcats or whatever. Monkeys are pretty interesting with how they can be so smart and they can learn to use keyboards. Also, some of them are, well, they seem smart. I don't know how smart they are, but, like, they throw their poop around, so it's like, makes you question just how intelligent they are. But they can do quite a bit, and people have tried to suggest they were related with evolution. I don't know if that's actually true or not. It's like monkeys are fascinating and interesting subject to bring up. Bears are interesting because the way they act. They happen to be kind of smart, but also they don't seem super smart. Like, they don't seem too tame, but I've seen bears act calm around people in videos. It's really, really odd. Very, very, like, they seem like there's a lot of intelligent ones, but also a lot of not intelligent ones. I guess it's just the way any animal species is, though. Raccoons are certainly fascinating, though. Raccoons seem like they're very, very smart, know how to get food from people. Also really, really cute. Plus, they're very, very crafty. They know how to get through stuff, and they can open stuff very easy with their paws, it seems like. Unfortunately, if you come in contact with them, I think a raccoon would probably be a little less than friendly. I don't think most of them are very, very nice around people. I think they're quick to get angry and growl at the person rather than try to be nice to you. No, they're pretty neat animals, frankly. I remember hearing about a study that said that, like, skunks supposedly make good pets if you take out their stink gland so they can't spray, which is really, really odd and really, really interesting thing to find out. I don't know if I would ever want to have a pet skunk, though. I mean, maybe. It might be an interesting experience, but probably not. You'd have to probably get it rabies shots too, because I hear skunks usually carry rabies, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be worth it. I think I'm mostly done with my talk about animals other than like pets. I mean, I'm gonna leave a note on this one so I can remember to talk about it more when I'm in the mood. I'm gonna use that to talk about aquatic stuff in just a second, because I was gonna mention talking about like underwater and like aquatic wildlife, like that kind of thing. I'd like to talk about like deep sea stuff and creatures in the sea. Okay, give me a second. Still no results, huh? Let me see. Give me a second. I don't remember where I had this at. That's weird. I thought I had more than 1887. I guess I misremembered and miscounted. Whatever, though. Of course, I'm looking. Okay, there it is. I was looking for what I had listed this under so I could mark this on my little list of topics. Okay, there we go. Done. Right, let's talk about the sea a little bit, the ocean or whatever. The ocean's fascinating. Not even just because of, like, underwater. There's a lot of stuff that's, like, above water that's fascinating. I mean, just look at, like, the rumors of the fucking Bermuda Triangle and all that shit. Also, sailing seems like a really fun time. I'd say pirates are interesting, too. I mean, I don't think they're really a popular thing that are still around. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never heard about any modern-day pirates, though. I mean, media portrays pirates in a pretty interesting light, and they're pretty interesting to hear about. Hear about them, like, plundering stuff, though, and makes them sound kind of awful. I've always wondered what it'd be like to travel the seas. Probably fascinating to go around setting sail and going on islands, checking out whatever islands. Maybe even getting to go explore underwater with, like, a submarine would be kind of cool. Also, just, like, there's a lot of stuff out there on the oceans. Like, God knows how many different islands there are to be explored. I'm sure island hopping and seeing new islands would be fascinating. Or not, you stumble onto something that's already been explored, or you find a new island that's undiscovered. I think most of it would be, yeah, sailing to places that are already discovered, probably. I don't know. It seems really, really fascinating as a topic. Although I imagine it'd be pretty scary and uneasy subject, especially if you fuck up, you end up shipwrecking and then eventually drowning to death. So yeah, I would imagine trying to deal with that kind of stuff might actually not be that great. I guess it depends on who you'd ask, though. I don't know. The sea's always been an interesting topic, not something we know a lot about. Feels like there's a lot of room for discussing it, and who knows what could lie underwater that we've never seen. Seeing, like, underwater and, like, seeing, like, aquatic wildlife has always been something that's been, like, fascinating. Like, I don't think we've been, like, super far underwater. We've been to, like, some stuff and seen stuff underwater. We know about, like, a lot of wildlife, like the whole sea anemone and the clownfish, their relationship, that kind of thing. There's coral, there's sponges. We've got, I don't know what they're called, those big fish that have the fucking lantern or whatever you're going to call it on their head that try to eat people with that. That's something I would be terrified of. I wouldn't want to deal with that. That seems like it'd be scary to deal with. Those fish are probably some of the horrifying things to think about out there. Also, there's like tales of there being like giant squid, and I mean, I'm sure they're real. I hear about like a lot of giant squid. Apparently they end up eating other squids too. I would imagine running into a giant squid or a giant octopus must be pretty scary to come face to face with it, to be honest. And then don't even get me started on like sharks. I wouldn't want to bump into a shark, especially not if they mistake you for something they want to eat, like a fish, and then they decide they're going to eat you. That'd be scary enough as it is. And there's like God knows how many layers of like stuff that's under the water that we've never seen. I don't think we've ever been like all the way underwater. If we've ever had like any technology we could deploy that would make it all the way underwater. underwater must be like one of the most interesting things, like just the way there's like so much stuff there, like what all we never seen under the water that we like we would be able to see, just like imagining like all these things that would be under there, seeing what all we've never heard of. I could imagine exploring and seeing all these things would be fascinating. Also, there's rumors of stuff like Lost City of Atlantis, all these things that are underwater. God, I can only imagine going down there. Wonder how dangerous it must be going down there with like a submarine, frankly. Certainly being fascinating. We can find a way to do it like we can with like planet stuff and trying to send drones to planets. I can imagine trying to get something underwater to explore underwater would be fairly fascinating, frankly. I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about that. I'm sure it'd be interesting and very interesting at that. I think I forgot about that I want to talk about. I mean, dolphins are neat. It's unfortunate that it seems like dolphins are, like, they're intelligent, but I've heard of dolphins doing terrible things, like some woman getting raped by dolphins apparently has happened before, which it just goes to show you no matter how intelligent something is, there can always be awful little creatures out there that'll just, like, abuse their intelligence. The fact that a group of dolphins raped the person is really fucked up. I mean, like, at least they're not all like that. Some are very, very kind and rescue people, and that's not a bad thing, but, like, yeah, hearing stories like dolphins doing that shit, it makes you really question their nature. Oh, man. I don't think there's, like, a lot else I can think of when I talk about on, like, aquatic life. I feel like if I aquatic life, there's some stuff that's kind of neat, but I feel like most things I can ever, there's not anything else that I can really remember right away, like, I guess jellyfish are another thing that are out there, and then there's, like, what it's called, the oysters, like, those little things, like, those are other things I can think of, like the little clams. I don't know if there's any other sea life I've forgotten about. And I think of, like, other aquatic stuff, for some reason penguins come to mind, even though they're not really aquatic so much as they're, like, they live out in, like, I think it's Antarctica. Or I think of something else. Am I thinking of another place? Alaska and Antarctica. And I think penguins are on in Antarctica, unless I'm mistaken. Let me see. What does Google say about that? I don't remember which one. I want to say it's Antarctica that penguins are exclusive to. Hang on a second. I don't know why I want to look this up. Can't remember. Yeah, I think they're in Antarctica. I wasn't certain. I know the South Pole. Like, yeah, I think it's the South Pole. Hang on a second, I'm confused here. Or at least according to Google, and I looked at, they claim they don't live at the South Pole, but I thought the South Pole was like where penguins are native to. That's odd. I don't know. Penguins have always been another species of animal that I've had like a lot of interest in. I don't know why. Some bird species I just really like, and penguins are hard not to like. They're very cute, so it's hard not to like them. Something about penguins, it's very, very friendly looking. I hear they're not always friendly. Like, they look nice. I don't know, they're very, very adorable. I like their little waddle. Very, very fascinating birds, very fast. They can collect fish really, really easy. They're great swimmers. They're also flightless. Like, I do enjoy reading up on them. They're one of the things I enjoy. Talking about, like, those kind of animals, I don't know what the right word would be, just like animals that live in like cold environments is also another thing that's pretty fascinating to me. Not super fascinating, but something that's worth talking about. Excuse me, my stomach's acting a little funny there. Or I feel like that's something I feel like is a decent point to bring up. hang on a second. I'm going to check this, and I'm pretty sure the answer is still no, we don't have anything to show yet. That's what I figured. We'd still be sitting here without shiny Regidrago, so yeah, okay. So much for that idea. We're not going to have anything to show for quite some time. Probably not any shiny today. We got 100 more encounters to go before we're done. Let's keep moving and keep trying. Also, there's a lot of penguin species out there. It's interesting to read about all the different penguins. I like penguins. They're something that's kind of cute, so yeah. I feel like I'd love to see them in person. I don't know how friendly they are. Seals are another thing that I have a lot of interest in, too. I feel like seals are very adorable. Sometimes they're really friendly, sometimes they're not, though. I hear a lot of potential, like, seals biting people, so who knows. They seem really friendly in videos, though. They do seem a lot like dogs, almost, how they act and their personalities. They're very adorable, to say the least, though. I do like the way they look. I'd like to see some of the aquatic life like that at some point. Sucks to hear about seals dying. They're apparently, like, hunted by... I think they get hunted by polar bears, but also just, like, I think I hear about some seals being endangered. That seem like really great wildlife, though. It's what all is out in the, like, wild of, like, living out in, like, Antarctica or the Antarctica. I want to say, not Arctica, I want to say that. Antarctica or Alaska, excuse me. Like, I know there's polar bears. That's a very easy one to mention. I don't think reindeer live on the North Pole, like Christmas carols or like stuff like hearing about Santa Claus would lead you to believe. So yeah, I don't think there's reindeer on the North Pole. I might be mistaken about that, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know if there's any other big species that I've forgotten about, though. Polar bears are scary to think about, actually, when it comes to wildlife. I don't know, they're big. They're apparently carnivores, not omnivores like some bears, and very easy to irritate. Probably wouldn't want to run face first into a polar bear, because I feel like any species of bear, polar bear is probably more likely to kill you than any of the others. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, I hear grizzly bears are pretty bad about that too, and apparently black bears are the type that mostly eat like berries, but I don't know if I'd want to have an encounter with like any bear. They're scary enough as they are. Something that's very intimidating, the idea of bumping into a bear. I remember a camping story I heard like a long time ago where it was like from my grandparents and my parents about how they went camping and they had a bear outside of their like, I think they were in a camper van or a tent. I think they had a camper van. They said the bear was like outside and rummaging through their trash and scared half to death that it was going to try and come into the camper van. That'd be something I'd be terrified of. I feel like if I saw that, I'd probably freak out. I wouldn't know how to react. Would not want to be near a bear. Would not want a bear to come over to where I'm at and like try and eat me. I would not be able to stay calm very easy. Seeing a bear outside, I mean, I'd be worried they'd probably try to bust in the camper van if they realized there were people inside of it. I'm sure some of them would. I think it just depends on if you get lucky, if you find a bear that's feeling hostile or not. Certainly wouldn't want to run into one and take the chance, though. They don't seem like the kind of species that you should fuck around with. I don't know. Let's see. Thinking on anything else before I want to finish talking about that. I think I mostly finished talking about what I intended to. Yeah, mostly talking about wildlife and aquatic wildlife, all these things. I think I'm done talking about that for the moment, so... Right, we can switch subjects in just a second and talk about some other stuff. Give me a moment or two. I'm gonna read up on what else I have that I want to talk about. Like I said, I'm sorry if I have to do this very frequently. It's just that it helps me think of things to talk about. Having this list here, it's easier on me to look for stuff that I haven't talked about and I want to talk about this way. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing this. Just easy. makes my life more easy and makes it better for me to have different talking points for the stream. Okay, let me see. Ooh, fuck. I'm gonna be silent for just a moment or two while I focus. So just give me a moment or two. Actually, I do a little more I can talk about with, like, the sea. I don't know if it'd be too bad. Well, it's not much. I'll talk about it a little bit. You ever thought about how scary it must be to, like, get stranded on an island or to get stranded at sea? Like, you'd have to, like, stay on a piece of driftwood or whatever and hope that you don't get stuck. Or, like, potentially if you get stuck on an island without any rescue, that would be terrifying. Just like, you get shipwrecked and you're stuck there without any way to live. I can only imagine dealing with that. That would be a whole ordeal, trying to learn how to live on an island. Learn how to cook it for yourself easy on, like, a fire. To learn how to hunt, probably, to get wildlife for the sake of eating. You need to, that is. I don't know if I'd want to eat, like, coconut or just, like, purely, like, stuff that it lives around the island. So, yeah, hunting stuff and trying to eat it would probably be the best option. And then also on top of that, trying to figure out how to make, like, an SOS signal on the off chance you end up seeing, like, a little helicopter or boat come by. You would certainly want to have, like, a way to get their attention. I couldn't imagine trying to live on an island like that all alone for years. I feel like if I was stuck on an island like that and not able to get off, I'd probably go fucking crazy. I feel bad for anybody who'd have to have that experience. I'm too used to having technology. I just don't think I would be able to enjoy living like that. It would be a miserable, very, very awful experience to just be stuck without any resources, any way to do anything. Imagine how scary that would be. I know there's like reports of that happening to people. I don't think it's like super common, but yeah, that would be something I would not want to deal with. I would assume nowadays, like cell phones, that you could probably get a signal easier and contacts. Maybe you'd also want to be careful because then if you don't have enough battery in your phone, then yeah, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. That would be really, really bad to be stuck and then not have any way to contact anybody. That'd be a very, very scary scenario, though. Game shows that are pretty interesting. The whole idea of live on an island for like a whole month or whatever. I couldn't imagine doing that myself. Okay, I think I'm done talking about that topic. Just wanted to bring that up. So that's another thing I thought it'd be alright to talk about. I thought something that'd be different. Let's see. How do you guys feel about, like, cars and driving, out of curiosity? Just, like, interested to hear opinions on this. Don't really care too much, man. I want to hear what you guys think. You guys like cars? Any of you guys drive very frequently? I drive every now and then. I'm not the type who loves driving. I drive myself to places and I need to get out and go take care of business. Because, I mean, naturally feel like it's easy to get out and do stuff myself, and I need to do things, and also I feel like I need to drive myself around to take care of, like, shopping or getting out. I sometimes go get food, whatever. Sometimes I have to take care of car maintenance, which obviously that isn't always something where I can drive, but yeah, I feel like I enjoy that. Sometimes I like to drive just for the sake of driving, but not very much. It's definitely convenient. It makes it a lot easier to get around and do stuff. I feel like much better than being forced to walk or ride a bus. I know that's something in a lot of cities where people don't have that easy opportunity. I think traffic's one of the scarier parts of driving, and also sometimes following traffic law can be a little bit confusing, because there's a lot of stuff you have to pay attention to, whether it be speed limit or like the stop signs. Those aren't too bad. Pay attention to each sign you're seeing, pay attention to the road you're on, make sure you don't pass where you're going to. There's just a lot to deal with. Driving can be bit of a headache at some times. Still enjoy it though. Never really drove too far though. Outside of that, like, I mean, not just driving, but like, also, I like talking about cars some too. I don't have much knowledge of cars though. I think I have a Honda car, so I mean, I know that much. It's a decent car, not anything amazing. It gets the job done. It gets me where I need to. It's a little bit on the old side. I think it's like a 2004 or something. It's reliable. It's broken down a few times though, and it's been annoying trying to get it working when it does happen. It's definitely a major problem when that happens. Speaking of which, I need to double check on my stuff in a little bit. Like, I think it's okay, but I'm not certain if I had to get out yesterday, or like, was it yesterday, like recently, and I'm worried if I remember to take care of everything I needed to. I think I did, but I don't remember very well. One thing I'm bad about, I wish there was like a way to turn your lights off automatically, or turn off anything you forget on your car, because it's sometimes easy to forget about, like, trying to make sure you take care of everything when you're getting out in the car. If you have like another person living with you, it's a little easier to have like that reminder and go check. But yeah, if you're alone, it's easy to not remember that until it's too late, and then you have no battery life in your car for the next day. Never want that kind of scenario. I don't know. It's just me. I'm not great about that kind of stuff. I've had a few points where I think I've been in accidents too, but it's only been like, I've bumped into stuff where I wasn't paying attention and I was pulling out of the parking lot. I think yeah, it's mostly been stuff like that. I haven't had any accidents like bumping into something while I'm on the road, collide with another moving car, because I didn't want to deal with that, and I'm glad I haven't had to deal with that. That's something that's scary. The idea of that car accident is not something I want to be involved with. I mean, my parents we've had a point where we've bumped into a deer before, and that was pretty bad. It causes a decent amount of damage if you're not careful. Fucking deer don't ever pay attention when they're jumping out in the road and then end up getting hit by cars. You can damage the car, and it'll probably kill the deer in a lot of cases too. Although the deer can get away scot-free and still be alive, car may take a nice amount of, or she can take a lot of damage from getting hit by a deer, though. Ugh, fuck. Car accidents are, yeah, they're scary. It's a very, very worrying thing. You end up in a car accident, so you could end up dead, or you could end up hitting somebody and killing them, and I don't want to ever have to deal with anything like that. Thankfully, I've never had any serious problems, but yeah, it's worrying just thinking about it. Let's see, types of cars. I mean, I look at racing every now and then too. I like seeing like what they do for like NASCAR or whatever for different racing cars. I like seeing cars race. It's pretty neat to see what goes on with that. NASCAR or something I keep up with. I didn't mention that when I was talking about sports yesterday. I guess I forgot. I mean, I guess it's also debatable whether or not NASCAR counts as a sport, frankly. But I know there's quite a few people who'd contest you if you said that NASCAR is a sport, and would argue and back and forth over and over that apparently it's not a sport, which I don't know if I'd agree with. It's like, it seems like a sport to me when I look at it. I don't know. Feels like something you'd qualify as a sport too. But I don't know, my stuff that well. It's neat to see people do like show their sponsored cars, see how they do their paint jobs, see how their cars are monitored too. That must be a stressful job. I don't keep up with like car brands well enough. I thought maybe I need to get a new car eventually. I feel like I sometimes have problems with my car, which I worry about. I have an old one since like a 2004 car or whatever. I'll get another Honda one day if I ever get enough money for it. Or getting like I don't know, Ford's another big one. There's a lot of different brands, aren't there? Ford, Honda, Toyota, those kind of things. I don't keep up with like all those. Also, there's minivans or a van. There's trucks. There's your cars. You got a lot of different types of cars out there. If there's anything I forgot about, I mean, there's Jeeps, I guess. There's so many different types of cars. I don't know if I'd want to own another car type than what I've got. I've got a standard car, basically. I don't think I would have any interest in riding in a truck, and I'm sure I wouldn't like driving a van very much either, so I don't know if I would want to have either one of those. I feel like driving a car is more than enough for me and fairly manageable. I don't think I could ever handle driving a bus. That'd be too much stress. I think trains might have it a little easier since trains, like it's on a railway. You just have to monitor like the speed. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the type of person that ever drove a train, obviously, and I don't know if I've ever rode on one or not, but like, yeah, it seems like it wouldn't be as bad as dealing with trying to drive like a bus in that regard. What about flying a helicopter, like steering a boat? I'm sure either one of those are confusing and not easy to deal with either. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about regarding that subject? I think I'm mostly done. I mean, yeah, I think I've talked about everything I want to. I'm talking about maybe racing, but I don't think I'm going to. I wanted to say NASCAR is neat. I don't ever do anything like car racing, for the record. If anybody's going to ask anything about that, I don't think anybody was, but I know people do that sometimes. Seems kind of dumb, though. Like it's waiting for causing an accident, frankly. I think I might need just a little bit of water for just a tiny bit. I know I do this every now and then. I try not to take my AFK breaks for too long, and I try to keep them substantially short so it's not interrupting the stream any. I'll do like a very, very quick one if I go get some water. I had some in my fridge. I don't know if it's cold, though. In fact, I think I'll do that for when I do an AFK break. I might have to do like a longer one. I don't know. Or I might not need to do one. I don't know. I might do like 5 minutes, potentially. It depends. I kind of want to get this over with. I'm only 75 from what my target today is, so I don't know. Let's see, where are we at in terms of topics anyway? Talked about cars for a little bit and talked about driving. Driving's interesting. I don't really feel like I want to talk about it anymore, though. Let me see just a second, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to take just a moment. I'm going to wait until I get to exactly 1930 or more, then we'll do it. Yeah, let's talk about other stuff right now. How do you guys feel about, like, flying in general, like, whether it be through planes or whatever? Jetpacks are another thing that's interesting. I've never used one. I don't know if I ever will. I think they're really pricey. I know most people who own them are really rich. Also, just the idea of, like, if we had the option to fly, would you guys want to? I mean, I feel like birds and a lot of other flight-based creatures take it for granted they have flying. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, they have wings. They don't probably think about it too much. They can just get around and go fly as easy as they want to. We have to rely on technology, like using like a plane or a helicopter or whatever to get around and fly. It'd be interesting to see what it'd be like if we had wings. I wonder if we'd even be able to support wings and fly anywhere. I imagine if we did get wings, it would be amazing, though, being able to fly, and I imagine that sensation might be incredible. Always wondered what it'd be like to be able to just take off and fly fly wherever. Something that I find fascinating about watching like superhero movies. Like the idea of having these kind of powers is always very interesting to me. Flight's something I find to be really, really neat. I do find like a little bit of envy in birds because yeah, they can fly without any problems. Plus, it must be fascinating to see like up in the air and see what it's like, all those clouds there. I wonder if we'll ever get like flying cars developed. Frankly, I mean, I feel like that'd be something that'd be weird. They'd probably have to be monitored with like another way to fuel them, and another way to like maybe have some way to safeguard it so it stops and you end up running really low on like fuel or whatever. Wouldn't imagine it'd run on the same fuel as a normal car, and have somebody to stop it so the car doesn't go falling to the ground if it ran out of fuel. yeah, some way to like force it into going into an emergency state where it goes and lands in a nearby area that's like safe, and like you can refill it, just so you could deal with that kind of thing if they had flying cars. That's the thing people expected to be like a part of the future, and never. I don't think we've had anything happen with that. I think there's like they're trying to make it happen. We haven't got anywhere yet. I feel like I've seen like people attempting it. That's another topic that I want to talk about. Not talk about when I get back from like taking a short break. I'm gonna take like a little bit of like maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes or 15 at most. I think I'm gonna go check on whether or not I've got some water. Probably go use the bathroom, because the fact that I've not gone to the bathroom. I'm not used to doing these kind of longer form streams, and it just helps to have like a quick break to go to the bathroom and maybe give myself a little bit of water, because like I said, I'm not the best at keeping on talking for several hours on end. Just good for these long form streams. If I get back to doing regular streams, I'll probably not need to do this as much, but considering I'm doing these fairly lengthy streams like pretty commonly, it's a good idea to keep myself hydrated, I feel like. So yeah, it's a good idea to just stay hydrated in general, considering that you can really easily get dehydrated and you don't want that. You gotta keep your body feeling fueled up and ready to go, really. Alright, let me add this one more encounter, and after that we're going to take that AFK break, because I think I'd rather not wait any longer. Be taking a while if we do. We'll talk about plenty more when I get back, though. I want to talk about quite a few things, actually, when I get back. Relating to what I just mentioned, I'll light up the floor really quick, and then we'll stop. To do that AFK break, I'll still be playing when I get back. Just have the mic on mute for a little bit. Okay, pause. I'll be back in just a little bit. See you guys in a few. I will be right back. See you guys in a bit.